Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Murder of the King. We apologize for being a week late on this. Myself and Drow got COVID, and so it was kind of hard to try to be a DM with everybody else in the room when being sick and not trying to get them sick. So, a little housekeeping to start with. Some house rules that we run, just a reminder. If we need to do death saves, I roll them. Kind of keeps the players from metagaming on who needs heals and who doesn't. We have an extreme action rule where if there is a legitimate RP reason, a character can gain a level of exhaustion to perform an amazing feat, such as running 4 times your normal speed, lifting something incredibly heavy that they may not be otherwise, things of that nature. We allow health potions to be used as a bonus action. This isn't the case for any offensive potions or buff potions. Those are a standard action. I also allow players to administer healing potions to downed players as an action, as an additional option instead of just needing healing spells or medicine checks. So moving on, we're going to switch over our scene here. So, little recap from the previous session. We started with all the characters on their way to a major battle. Some unbeknownst to them, our rogues, Yip and Mirage, were in town for other reasons. Tempest, the warlock, she was also there for other reasons. She was there with her shipping company delivering some goods. But our other main characters, Talia, Renthal, Vandal, and Mara, were on their way to a battle with the Crimson Chalice. That battle took place in the city, caused a lot of devastation, a lot of people died. Vandal took a brutal hit from the leader of the Chalice forces that left him essentially dying. They all woke up in a field hospital for various reasons, from the catastrophic spell failure that another character named Kron had, casting a level 10 spell. While they were there, Mara's love and dear friend Matthias died. She attempted to resurrect him with the guidance of her god. This was frowned upon by most of the other clerics. It also caused a distraction. During that period, Vandal disappeared. No one was able to find him. And we are picking up 5 years later. And we are in the College of Temervin, where Talia and Renthal are speaking to their mentor, Phelan, one of their mentors. I received a summons for both of you from the King of Temervin.
The King?
Yes, it seems that your exploits in the Battle of Venthal were remembered, and he's in need of a certain cadre of heroes that he thinks he can trust outside of the town to investigate something for him. The letter was rather sparse in the details, but
I'll take it. I'm looking it over.
And you open the letter, and you can see that it's handwritten, actually. And it's basically a summons for the two of you by name, requesting for you to come to Temervin to have an audience with the king. The king is in need of special services and an investigation. Details will be provided upon your arrival. It's actually signed by the High Chancellor, which is the king's right-hand advisor. And it's stamped with the king's seal.
So I'm kind of, as I'm reading it, I lean it over to Talia so she can glance at it. Heroes. Who said anything about us being heroes?
Not me.
Well, he must have done something that caught the king's eye.
We were just there.
Perhaps. But I'd argue that you did a little more than just be there.
We tried. What would you do?
Well, you have a break in your training here for both of you. I would suggest you take the king up on the summons. Sometimes the best way to get experience is to go out into the world and to use your abilities.
It's hard to ignore the summons of a king.
I believe you both have enough training to hold your own. And remember, if you always need help, we're here. At that moment, the door from across the main hall that you're in swings open, and you can hear a boisterous laugh. And in strides Colorin, the High Cleric of the College of Temervan, High Cleric of Bahamut. And with him are two other figures. One you don't recognize, the other you've seen before. Gareth is a half-elf male, and he is the head of the Guardians of the college. He and Colorin and Callie, the third person, who you've heard her name whispered, but you've never seen her in the college. They're deep in conversation as they come in. Obviously, Gareth said something funny to elicit such a laugh out of Colorin, but they walk up to where you are, and Colorin looks at Phelan and embraces her in a hug. It's good to see you, sister. She nods. Gareth walks over and gives her a kiss. And goes, I figured I'd do more than a hug since, we're a bit of an item. Colorin just kind of shakes his head. And Callie looks at both of you and looks you up and down. She goes, Renthal Soulstrider?
Indeed.
And Talia Rualathan.
I look at Gareth.
It's a pleasure to meet both of you.
Kind of like, who are these guys?
Gareth smiles. Callie is my counterpart. She is the head of a different sect of the Guardian Order, based out of Rakiat in the Dragornian Empire. Whereas my job is more to educate all of you on the dangers of magic and give warnings and police them. Callie's job is to eliminate those who break the rules.
Well met.
She bows.
What brings you here?
Gareth and I have business to discuss related to the Guardian Order.
There are always comings and goings in this college. Never know who you will see.
Gareth pulls an apple out of the bag at his side and he starts kind of cutting pieces off and eating them. Phelan, there's Kron here. At that, Colorin kind of perks up, cracks his knuckles. Yeah, is Kron here? And Phelan smiles and, no, Kron's out on another mission. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. It's always very convenient that Kron isn't here when I'm not. Well, that's fine. I'll see him eventually. For the meantime, sister, I've activated another dragon shrine. So our network is expanding.
Pardon, did you say dragon shrine?
Yes. The old dragon shrines were temples to Bahamut, long buried. I have been scouring Athkar looking for them and reactivating them in his name. To remind everyone of the glory of Bahamut and that he still watches over.
Sometimes it's easy to forget Bahamut, the statue that adorns this castle.
He should always be remembered. But I have other matters to attend to. It's a pleasure. I will see you all later.
Unfortunately, you may not. We have been summoned to New Temervan.
Ah! He slaps you on the shoulder. Good. Practical experience. Something I've always been arguing for the students here to learn.
I guess sooner than better.
So he walks away. And Gareth is now... He's still cutting pieces off his apple. Alright, Callie, let's go. We have our discussion in the council room. And she nods. It was a pleasure to meet both of you.
Not bad.
Hopefully, I won't have to see you in unpleasant circumstances. And she follows Gareth off into another room. And Phelan just kind of shakes her head. He goes, come. I will speed your travel along towards Temervan. You follow her down the normal pathways deeper into the college and in the mountain. Down, down, down. Eventually you get to a floor where students had not been allowed to travel. And she pauses at the door with her hand on it and looks at both of you. From this point on, you're going to see things that most students of your caliber I'm not ready to see yet. If you have questions, you can ask them later. For now, don't touch anything.
Lead the way.
Understood? She unlocks the wards, opens the door, and beckons for you to enter. And after she walks in, she closes it behind her and reactivates all of the magical wards. This whole floor is filled with labs and books and various artifacts, if you will, on pedestals and boxes, all visible, all humming with magical energy, all giving off different levels of strength of magical energy. She walks towards the back of the room where there's sort of a small throne, and behind it is a huge bookshelf. And she waves her hand, and the bookshelf totally disappears, and there's another room behind it. And she takes you into it, pulls the barrier back up. In this room, there's 2 different archways built into the wall. One literally just looks like it's a painted mural, right? It's just black. There's nothing. There's no stone. Nothing. It's just there's nothing there. The other archway has sort of you can see the stonework behind it, but it has sort of a soft bluish glow and hum to it. There's also a number of bookshelves in this room in particular, and 2 artifacts. One is a sword, and the other one is part of a hammer. And she beckons you over to the wall that has sort of the soft blue hum. She begins an incantation, touches the wall, and the whole thing springs into this bright blue fire. Step through, and this will take you to the outskirts of the city of Temervan.
This is convenient.
Well, Kira has been hard at work rebuilding the portal network while dodging other issues.
I've heard of this one. One
Yes.
of the heroes.
She is. Her specialty is finding the old portal networks and reactivating them. There is one near Temervan that she has already activated that will serve you in your travels.
Excellent.
One last thing. She flips Talia a small stone. That is a ward stone. You can use that without knowing the incantation to activate any of these portals that have already been found, if you stumble across them. I'll work to get you a map later, so you know which ones are already active. But for now, this'll do.
Will we be able to return this way?
Yes. You'll simply have to return to the portal at the other end, and with that ward stone in your possession, you'll be able to get back here.
We shall receive our orders from the king. Return here to report.
Best of luck, and remember, should you need help, it is available here at the college.
Thank you.
And as you 2 walk through, you feel the fire engulf you and essentially pull you in. Doesn't hurt. It's not cold. It's not hot. It's almost like an embrace. It's just you can feel it sort of grabbing you and drawing you through. And then you get shoved out the other end into a small basement. There is a guardian, one of Gareth's men, sleeping in the room. And he kind of...
No worries, friend.
Who are you?
We come from the college.
Well, I would hope so. Otherwise, we got problems.
We have been summoned by the king.
Ah. Well, you're in luck. You're just outside of town. It's only about 2 miles to the east from here.
To the east. And thank you.
If you need any provisions, well, I hope you brought them, because I don't have anything.
Checking my bags, hoping I did too.
And you should both have enough provisions to get you to the town.
There's like just stairs going up out of here.
Yep.
Okay.
The staircase goes up to the main floor. There's another guardian on that floor who seems surprised to see you, but doesn't. He just kind of nods, doesn't say anything.
Not back. Look for east when I get outside.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's just before sunrise, so you can. It's pretty easy to spot which direction you're going.
Right. Great.
All right. But you guys are now outside on the road to Temervan.
So what were you studying while you were at the college?
looking into the various magics that were foreign to us before. Things I never knew there were. But mostly trying to learn more about druidry.
And what did you find?
That it's not some wild magic like I thought. Not something that is unique to me. There were whole orders before.
Did you learn a lot from Imnock?
Imnock is my master, and he will guide my way. But the way is open. There are many paths. Mine might not be the same as his.
That makes sense.
And you?
Well, did I ever tell you about my family?
You may have mentioned it.
Oh.
But I don't think I'm clear on all the details.
Oh, well, so my grandfather used to tell me these stories about how our family was descended from these dragon riders. But everybody kept telling me that they're not real, and I found a whole bunch of information about all the different dragons, but of course, most of it said that it's more like legends, so I think I need to find more books to actually go over and talk and, like, get more information about these people that had, because there was this order of knights, it was called the Knights of Ruthor, and it was it was like from the original god of magic, Ruthor. And it was just really cool because, like, apparently, like, Ruthor had, like, this agreement with the dragons, and, like, this order of knights used to actually ride the dragons, and so obviously there's got to be something there, right?
I don't think there would be a statue to Tiamat or anything like that if it wasn't real.
I'm just saying. Obviously my grandfather can't be lying.
I don't think so either. This world has more magic than any of us ever do.
Right. So you guys traveling on the road, and you see somebody on the road ahead of you, and stand there, kind of checking on her armor, and you recognize her.
Mara?
In fact, it is Mara.
Mark, you were there. I remember this one.
She looks more startled to see Talia, but she gives you a nod. How fare you?
Okay. Have you heard from Vandal at all?
Vandal.
I haven't heard from anyone.
I was looking for Vandal for about a year and I couldn't find him, and then Phelan asked me to come to the college, so I went to the college, and that's where I've been for like the last 4 years. But I know he's got to be around here somewhere. He can't be dead. It just doesn't feel like he's dead.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
I'm struggling to recall. Who was this?
Vandal was my friend, the one that you met when,
He was there too.
Yes. He was hurt pretty badly.
The one that almost died there in the hospital bed and disappeared.
Yes. But he's not dead.
And you haven't seen him?
I haven't seen anyone.
Where have you been?
In the forest.
What were you doing?
Penance.
Was it because of the thing that happened?
Talia, I was doing penance.
Understand. Well, you're welcome to come with us.
I have an errand to run.
Where will you be?
I'm heading to see the king.
So are we.
You are?
Yeah, we had a summons at the college from the king.
He's looking for, quote, heroes.
She pulls out her own summons and shows it to them. Much like this one?
Yeah.
I would say the very same.
Well, then I shall enjoy your company,
Please
if you
do.
don't mind.
Your vengeance is over, I would hope.
That is for my god to decide.
Fair enough.
You guys proceed down the road, and within about an hour, you finally, you're making a pretty good pace. You finally arrive at the gates of Temerman. When you arrive at the west gate, just going to change the map here for everybody watching along with us. You arrive at the west gate, and there's merchants and tradespeople kind of milling about, talking. People from the city going about their business. There's a couple guards standing there, but they're kind of nonchalantly resting up against the city wall, taking note of passersby, but nothing too serious. They take note of you. One nods at you. The other one is sort of half asleep, leaning on a spear. And you enter the large, bustling city of Temerman.
Okay.
There's people everywhere, and right near you is... You can see a huge clock tower nearby. A couple people bump into you. Pardon me, my lord, pardon me. Walk past.
I check for my bag of gold.
It's still there.
Okay.
Looks like it wasn't a thief this time.
So, question, have we been here?
Your character has,
Yes.
and both of you have, because you're both from the area, so
Okay.
you would have been here. You'll have a rough idea. You'll have a better idea than he will of where the castle is.
So we're in the trade square.
Yep.
Need anything before we go to see the king?
I don't think so.
And you? You've been in the woods?
I've had work with merchants. I'm fully stocked.
Then let us not waste any time. And I assume it's in what, number 5?
Number
Yeah.
5, yeah, that's the castle.
I head that way.
Alright.
Just kind of taking in the sights on the way.
So you proceed kind of southeasterly, following the road, past a number of inns, homes, storefronts, bakeries, butcher shops, all typical stuff that you would see in a larger city. Eventually you come to the Forum of Rivas, which is what this large central square is called. They hold the festivals here. There are 4 ancient columns that sort of flank the whole square, and atop each is a small dragon statue. These are vestiges of when this city was once a far southern outpost of the Dragornian Empire, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Okay. And from there you head north towards the castle. Once you reach the gates, there's a sort of cadre of guards standing out front. You notice there's a ton on patrol kind of eyeing you as you walk up. They're patrolling the grounds. One of them steps forward. Can I help you, travelers?
Hail, soldier. We've been summoned, and Mara produces the letter for the king. From the king.
You are Mara, then, I take it?
Yes. How would you like me to prove?
And I have mine ready.
And he looks. Renfall, Soulstrider, and Talia Ralvin.
That is us.
Do you have family crest rings?
I have something.
The closest I have is a symbol for my order.
That will do.
And
Because your name would be emblazoned on it, so...
she produces it.
Okay. He looks at it. Very well. So, you would have one. You would have sort of a family sigil
Okay.
that you could produce. You would not, though.
I believe all I have is my druid thing. My druid focus, which is, I think, a necklace.
But the other thing that you do have is your Iron Wolves pauldron.
Oh, I didn't know if we had those yet.
Yeah.
It's okay. I come from the college, and there I also work with the Iron Wolves, and I reference the shoulder pad.
Kind of looks it over. Looks at you.
I show him my pendant.
leans back, whispers with the other guard. They kind of go back and forth for a second. Very well, this will be sufficient. You can follow Baldwin. He will take you to the throne room. Kind of steps aside. They part the doors. And you guys enter the castle. The castle is another vestige from the Dragornian Empire. This was one of the other things that was built here. They built this fortress to sort of guard this trade post.
This can't be a coincidence. Just kind of whisper it to her.
So everything is very ornate. The construction style is completely Dragornian, so a lot of high sweeping arches for a lot of the entryways. Things are a little bit wider and bigger than you would normally find in sort of a human castle. The entryway is fairly grand. There are statues flanking the whole thing. You have statues of various human kings that have ruled from here. You have statues of Draconian governors that had once been in charge of this area. Eventually you come to a spot where some of the newer statues of kings are sort of defaced and being repaired by artisans right now. And they're kind of furiously at work trying to fix a number of these things still. And the guard just looks at you. That is from when the Dread Lord Baal took the castle. Decided it was an affront to his greatness to have others before him.
I've heard of this, probably from you. How long was he here?
Too long.
He ruled here for at least a year, but it was brutal, quick, and swift. He killed most of the nobles. The king and his entire family, they were the first ones dead. But it's difficult to defend the royal family from a god.
It's difficult to discern what a god does and for what reason.
Well, the lord of oppression, may he, when he spits, forever rot in his cell. He does what he must.
But that time is over.
Indeed. There are better times now. Chaotic, but better. Eventually you come to the end of the hall. He takes you up a flight of about 20 steps to the large set of double doors. There's 10 more guards here. They look him over. They're looking they're all eyeing the three of you. And he basically produces your writs from the king. Guard nods. Very well, I will take them from here, Baldwin. They crack one of the doors, and they basically wide enough just to let the three of you through. They don't break formation, other than the one guard who moves out of the way to let you pass.
Pardon me, as I'm going by. Why so many guards?
The king will address that with you directly. And after you enter, the guard kind of closes the door, makes his way out. You're in a large throne room. There's a huge throne at the other end. Now, this is a big guy sitting in the throne. You can see the king sitting there waiting for you. He's kind of at the edge of his seat. Come, closer. Throne room's huge. The throne is huge. He's a big guy. He looks small on the throne. This was obviously built for Dragornians. You cross the room. There's another man standing next to him, kind of with a very pensive look on his face and tapping his fingers.
Sigils or anything?
He's wearing a rather ornate necklace that you recognize the symbol on it because it's also one of the seals in the letter. He's the High Chancellor. He's the king's main advisor. You can roll perception checks.
15.
Okay.
And when I find my character sheet, I will let you know.
Also 15.
Good.
We're gonna go with what the die says because I have no idea where my character sheet is, and I'm gonna look for it. 11.
Okay. So you two, just barely over here, he leans over to the king. It seems that Lady Mira is late, sire. And he just kind of...
You know Lady Mira.
She will be here, do not worry. You get closer. Welcome, friends! And he kind of gets up and embraces you.
Oh.
Which kind of catches you off guard. embraces
I
Talia.
quickly step away from him.
I sort of like a half-hearted, like, oh, we're hugging.
He extends a hand.
I shake his hand.
Okay. He steps back. Oh, it is good to have faces that I feel could be friendly. He bounds back up the stairs, and he's just kind of pacing in front of the...
Since he clearly didn't want the decorum, I just give him a quick bow.
Yeah. He looks at the three of you. Strangest king you've ever seen. His hair is pulled back into a ponytail. He's wearing a leather jerkin over a basic plain green tunic. He's got just a set of breeches, set of super dirty boots on.
Okay. Does he have weapons on him?
Doesn't have a crown.
Okay.
Weapons are actually by the throne. There's a long sword and a bow kind of just sitting next to it. His advisor just kind of... Welcome. It is good to see that you have followed the summons. Sire, shall I bring in the others? He's kind of scratching his beard. And, oh, yes. Bring the rest of them in. He looks over to guard off to the left. Please fetch the less than reputable ones. After a few moments, several guards, 6 to be matter of fact, 3 on each person, they bring in a black Dragornian and a kobold.
I want to know them too.
I know I've seen these ones somewhere.
Guards, take the shackles off, please. They're not going to do anything to me here. The guards undo both of your restraints. He looks around. There are 2 missing. Where's, let me start. The mistress of ships, you mean the woman who runs the trading guild? It seems that Tempest is on a boat and is unavailable, sire. We shall continue attempting to reach her, but until she docks, I believe that she will be unavailable at this time. And he's okay. But what of the other one? Where is the other hero I summoned? I believe he is on his way, my lord. But there was some, and at that moment you hear a commotion from the back end of the hall where you came.
I draw my sword and turn to the back hall.
One guard basically like flies in on his ass, kind of spins up and tries to like get his spear under him to push himself up. 12 guards come in, carrying a man fully shackled, like straitjacket style, and like carrying him. He's also muzzled, totally unkempt, huge beard, hair's grown out. You can't really tell who he is, but they basically carry him in this way. And they start bringing him up, and they're like, Sire, are you sure you wish us to... He's like, unshackle the man. I will not have the hero that saved my sister and my nephew from a fire in Venthal treated this way. Why is he bound as such? They begin taking everything off. Talia, you realize it's Vandal.
I told you he wasn't dead.
One of the guards kind of Sire, no offense is meant, but he wasn't exactly friendly when we went to summon him. He bit off Charleston's ear, and well, I think Nira is missing a toe. But well, bygones are bygones. All the 12 guards, kind of like, sure they are, motherfucker.
I lower my sword, but I keep it out.
The king kind of, out, all of you. Guard the entrances like you're supposed to. So they leave. Once they leave, he kind of sits back down. So, everyone's here, except for Tempest.
You have summoned us.
Yes, you're probably wondering why I summoned all of you.
So he pipes up and says, Listen, I don't care what Athkar said. He gave me a shoe.
Very well. The king doesn't really know what else to say to that. Looks over at Mirage. You're probably wondering why I released the two of you, two miscreants in our town, from prison.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering that too.
Wait, so it's not about the shoe?
It has nothing to do with the shoe, my friend.
What about the rat race and league?
Can you please stop with the shoe?
No, it has nothing to do with that either.
The library fire? The that one was an accident.
No, but now I know who's responsible for that. The Chancellor goes, my friends, please, let the king speak. I have summoned all of you here because none of you are known within court. None of you are known within the city. But for various reasons, you are known for other deeds. And I have need of all sorts of characters. You see, a fortnight ago, an assassin was sent to attempt to kill me, and he nearly succeeded. This isn't the first such attempt, but it was by far the most sophisticated and the closest that it's come. I suspect, and you hear a door open, and a woman dressed in this gorgeous red dress comes in and, pardon me for being late, sire, guests. My friends, this is Mira Coyne. She is our Minister of Trade. She is one of my other trusted advisors, one of only two that I can trust in the whole city, and he kind of points to each. For those of you that don't officially know me, I'm King Victor Brower. I was once the High Ranger of the city, but after the Dreadlord Bale came in and cleaned house, the noble houses that reformed needed someone to run the city, and they thought I would be the best choice. They appointed me king. I had no blood right to the throne, but then again, Bale did not leave anyone alive to strike that claim. But you are here because someone is attempting to cause chaos and disruption within the city, and now they've made an attempt upon my life. I am in need of those with certain skill sets and contacts to figure out who is behind this plot.
I sheath my sword now, but I still stand apart from the others. And then, looking at the king, I say, how many attempts?
This would be the third. The first was very crude, and I killed the assassin myself in the town square. He was apparently a disgruntled farmer who was angry at me for something I did when I was the High Ranger, which was really reining in his sons from killing off the entirety of a woodland area because they were mad at a wolf. The second attempt was a little more organized. Came from a neighboring enemy out of Crimport. But the last attempt was a single assassin, and he nearly had me. And he grabs his shirt and jerking it pulls down. You can see the fresh scar from where he had been stabbed. He just missed me, and if it were not for the healers, I probably wouldn't be here. But he was far more equipped. He was an expert. This is why I believe that he was a member of the Black Hand, the Assassin's Guild. You kind of, Sire, I do not believe it is pertinent to seed any of them with ideas. Let them have an open-ended investigation. If you give them one belief, then they may scurry after that to the detriment of actually finding who's responsible for this.
However, it is important to know such information and where to start.
Yes, but the Black Hand of Athkar is a myth.
Says you.
Insight 7.
Insight 7. It was 7.
Yeah, unfortunately it wasn't.
Yeah. He seems like he's giving some pretty straightforward advice.
I'll get him eventually.
My lord, if I may, if we're going to proffer up ideas to those you are hiring, I would suggest you investigate some of the nobles in the city. Not all were exactly on board with King Brower being appointed. You see, he's a bit too, what's the phrase, of the common man. And there are many that do not appreciate this as a feature among our king. I believe it is the way to increasing stability within the kingdom. Almost said empire. And, well, it keeps our position secure if the regular folk are comforted and happy, if you understand my meaning.
Gilded cages are still cages.
Indeed, they are. I often try to emphasize this to Lady Mira, but she has her beliefs. So the king kind of sits back. So what say all of you? Would you know my terms?
I do not wish to become known or to be a hero, nor do I feel any obligation to you or your kingdom. However, the attempts on your life, it threatens the balance, the stability of this place.
It's a fair point. You are right. For most of you, there is nothing that ties you, other than perhaps the two thieves that like to purloin from the merchants and apparently the library.
I wish to help. Balance is what we need in this world. It is the way of life.
And you, my dear?
Sure.
And what of you?
No.
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 Why no?
I did not wish to come here.
Is that why you fought off my guards?
No, that was because they were rude.
Well, that I will address later.
I cannot stay here.
You can't stay here. Well,
Things were left at my home.
very well. You all have the freedom to go where you need to investigate this, so if there's something you need to retrieve, you can go back there. Perhaps I should tell you all what I'm offering as a reward for finding the assassin and putting him to justice. I'll give you 10,000 gold. I will give pardons to both of you for all crimes towards the city. And all of you will get an official deed to land outside the city, to parcel as you will, either individual homes, perhaps a fortress, whatever you need. You will also have my house sigil. This will identify you as an official agent of the king, and will make your life easier in terms of dealing with the guards, other nobles, merchants, anyone that you need to speak with of an official capacity. I can't promise it will help you with thieves' guilds, assassins' guilds, or outside the kingdom of Temervin at all, if the chase so leads you that way. But it will at least identify you as one of mine.
I already have a sigil.
And I do not seek to replace it. This would merely be an additional form of identification.
But nothing you have offered will help me with what I am already trying to do. I decline.
Perhaps, but this assassin, he leans forward in the chair. He is attempting to take people before it's actually their time.
Hit you right in that spot.
The king leans back. I'll give you a moment to think on it. What say you, Mirage?
Well, I'm not going back to prison.
I offer you an out. So I take it you accept?
Yes.
And you, Yip?
Well, I think Yip's voice kind of crying because his eyes are still wide from hearing 10,000 gold. It's like, investigations and delight can be expensive, you know? Do we get some kind of stipend or what?
He looks over at Mira. She sighs. As official envoys of the king, I will grant you each a 50 gold advance from the treasury to procure anything you might need, as well as cover travel expenses, lodging expenses, etc., etc.
Correct. That means we can stop eating at the cheap places.
Yes, that's what that means.
You mean prison?
Just say yes.
I accept.
Pretty good.
Access to your armory.
Access to the armory. Very well. You can all have your pick of things in the armory that will aid you as well.
He's just nervously rubbing what you guys realize is the scar left.
I'm still trying to put it together.
And you, Lady Mara?
If for as long as the memorial will sit.
And you hear in your head a sort of soothing, yes, child, this will lead to your redemption.
I accept.
Very well. Well, with that, Lady Mira will give you each your stipend, and she kind of reaches into a pouch and begins counting. She starts giving you basically bars that are the equivalent of 10 gold coins piece.
Yip's eyes are just wide. He's like, there's like a little bit of drool.
So each of you wind up with 50 gold. Saren Vale, the High Chancellor, waits till she's done that. Now, if you will follow me, I will take you all to the armory where we will outfit you with what we can.
I just got one question.
Yes.
What does purloin mean?
Follow me. He doesn't answer the question. He just turns around, takes you all down a back hallway.
How do the guards react when I get to walk right out past them?
Oh, they're all like, what the, you know. One of them goes to say something, and the guard that's sort of the head of that cadre just kind of elbows him in the stomach. They look for the king now. Shut up. They take you down to the armory. He unlocks it and opens it. Unfortunately, the pickings are slim, as we've had to double the guard and outfit everyone. But you can take what it is as you need. Also, I must give you these. And he starts basically, he hands each of you a pin that is the sigil of King Brower, which is a raven. You will be the king's eyes and ears. His flock, if you will.
It's called a murder.
Yes, fine. Then you will be the murderer of the king.
Watch who you say that in front of.
Indeed. May I give you a suggestion, all of you? King Brower is a good man, and he deserves to be protected. But I fear he is misplacing where he is trying to send you. Feel out the city first before you go looking for the Black Hand of Athkar. If they exist and the myths are true about them, they're far more dangerous than anything you would find here. So in the armory, there's, you got a couple great swords. There's like 2 or 3 short swords.
I had 13 insight.
Yep.
Yeah, I only had a 10.
Okay. You don't feel like he's trying to mislead you or cover for anything. Okay. It really seems like he's like, keep your mind open, and he obviously feels like the threat is closer than further away.
Chancellor,
Yes.
why do you think he picked us? Just because we have no affiliation? It seems so.
You have no affiliation with any of the nobles of this house. You serve the heroes of Athkar. As far as he is concerned, that makes at least the two of you upstanding citizens. You saved his niece and nephew from a building in Venthal.
It did.
You could have very easily ignored that family in that burning house, but you didn't. For the king, that spoke volumes. Lady Mara, despite what some members of your order would say of you, your former commanders still speak very highly of you. As do the rumors from the townsfolk of the time that you've spent over these last several years, aiding those on the road. It's not gone unnoticed. And you two, you're perhaps the most famous thieves in the city. There's a use for even that.
Famous at getting caught?
Well, perhaps, but
I tightened my grip on my 50 gold.
they were only caught because, well, they slipped up. By the way, your gear is over here, and he points to a corner where there's your stuff, your personal stuff. So you guys can re-outfit, and you check the bag, and in the one bag is that egg you still haven't had the chance to deliver.
So he takes out the egg. It's like, he's like looking at it and he hugs it.
I'm just looking for like a longbow, scimitar.
I try to pick up.
You find both.
I try to pick up a greatsword, but in his right arm, because of his injury, he still can't hold it steady.
Okay.
So he picks up a longbow.
I mean, I still have my sickle and my shield.
Yep. So if there's anything else that you want, they've got some. There's a suit of chainmail nearby.
Is there a chain shirt?
There are several chain shirts.
Okay. That's what I'm gonna equip.
I'm going to change out my chain mail.
Yep.
Because mine's probably rusted.
Okay.
And I'm going to grab a couple more javelins.
Okay.
So, if you're nearby, still it seems odd. We're not powerful. There are more powerful people in this kingdom. It seems
There's a fresh dagger nearby
desperate
for you to do it.
to ask for someone like us. And he's offering basically a whole kingdom.
Oh, believe me, the king is desperate to find the assassin. Let's just say that the only attempt that has been made was not just the king. The others were successful.
How many others?
6.
Six other people have died?
Yes. 2, nobody thought much of them. They were 2 local bar owners. Longtime rivals, it was believed that they killed each other in a fight. That's how it appeared, anyway. The 3rd, more disconcerting, was one of the emissaries from the Orc Republic. They're not exactly very happy that their ambassador is dead. The 4th, even worse, was an emissary from the Dragornian Empire. She was killed in her sleep, poisoned.
Wolf just kind of glance at him.
The 5th was the head of the local temple of Tyr. And the 6th, well, it was the minister of ships.
The two bar owners.
He was killed 2 weeks ago.
The two bar owners. What were their names?
Valdrin, Paul, and, well, I don't know the other one. He worked on the outside of the wall.
I've seen many goods come through. Will there be some goods I might question? Something to have the minister of ships assassinated.
No, it makes no sense, especially because, well, as you know, Temervin is a river-based city. We don't have access to the Eastern Ocean. Not directly from here, anyway. So the Minister of Ships has always been more of a ceremonial title to keep the fishermen happy. Most of our trade is overland. So why someone would have killed him, I don't know. He was an ardent supporter of King Brower, so perhaps that was the reason.
Were they all supporters?
Come to think of it, Well, the two ambassadors weren't necessarily. They represented their own people, but the two bar owners were, from what I understand. And the Minister of Ships was.
Well, traders don't represent anyone, they represent money.
They also represent stability.
And that is true.
Did they maybe have something what was valuable? All the people I've seen get killed in my work, they always have something valuable.
I suppose it depends. If you consider social capital value, then they had plenty of it. Each of them had power in their own right from in their own station.
I think he's right. This is about stability.
Vandal just starts coughing uncontrollably.
Are you well, friend?
No, he's clearly not.
I need to go home.
Well, I will not keep you any longer. Do what you must. If you need me, my residence is not far from here. I will be your main point of contact for your investigations.
You say it's not far from here. It's inside of the castle.
No, it is just up the road. I live in the Noble District. First home on the left.
Very well. Well, I just continue sorting through to see if there's anything I can use.
Some odds and ends. You've got, arrows, javelins, a couple throwing axes, some throwing knives, slings, sling bullets.
I don't have a lot of like basic kit stuff. Can I pick up like your ropes and things? Would that kind of stuff be here?
They don't have anything like that in the
Okay.
armory.
Just actual.
Now, there's a couple of stores that you're familiar with within the city that would probably carry something like that.
Right.
I grab a couple short swords and a couple daggers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab a lot of throwing knives.
Okay, there's about 10.
10.
Yeah, the armory's fairly cleared out.
I grabbed 2 javelins and a new set of chainmail.
Okay. You just grab the greatsword.
No, you can't. You
Oh,
can't.
yeah, that's right. You took the bow. Sorry.
Yeah,
The long
he
bow.
takes a longbow and a quiver.
Yep.
Other than that, that's
Oh.
pretty much it.
I also got a shield. Forgot to mention.
Okay.
Are there any cloaks or anything like that?
No. No clothing of any sort like that. What about Talia? She doesn't take anything.
What about like hooded leather armor?
There is a set of leather armor.
Okay. Anything that would be like with a hood or that would be able to cover.
Yeah.
Then I replace the armor that they give me back in my pack with the hooded leather armor.
Okay.
I kind of, since Talia's not really getting anything, once I've got stuff, I kind of stand over closer to her, and I'm kind of like quietly to her. Do you remember these ones? You remember far better than I.
These?
Yes.
Mhm.
Were they there too?
Mhm. That one got stuck in a barrel.
Can I use?
You'd think I would remember that.
We were a little busy at the time.
Hey, he got his legs out.
Alright. Enough of me.
So, you ran?
It was more of a tactical retreat.
Yeah, I told him that.
Tactics.
They ran in the opposite direction.
By the way, Crix, did you know Louise was famous?
Yeah, we're real famous.
I think
Do you have
notorious is
something
the
at
word
your
you mean.
house to help with the call?
Yes.
You might want to grab a cloak, a hood, or something like I's got. If he's as famous as this person says, then I mean,
Where's
people
your
might want autographs and stuff.
I'm sure you know where the trade district
Because
is.
it's clearly not where it used to be.
Yes, let's go get some cloaks.
I couldn't find out like that.
She starts walking out.
Okay. You guys leave the castle. Again, the whole place is like, guards everywhere. But as you exit the hedgerow that lines the outer perimeter of the castle grounds, you hear a voice from off to the side. Ah, greetings, friends! May I have a moment of your time?
We don't have any.
There's a large orc standing off to the side. Very well dressed.
Does he look like a merchant?
He does.
We
Okay.
don't have any friends.
I'm just putting that pen in from the king.
Ah, yes, just what I need. Official... brain broke. Yeah, representatives. Official representatives of the king.
How can we help you?
Yes, well, come closer. Come around, friends. Come.
I'll step up.
All right.
I've got to step up as well.
My name is Gothar Elcad. I'm the new Orc emissary for the Orcish Republic. We have a great many trade deals throughout Athkar, as you may well be aware.
Are you concerned for your life?
Almost on the nose, my friend, just slightly askew. You see, I fear for my son's life. About a fortnight ago, around the time that attempt was made on the king's life, and yes, don't worry, we know. We're often in contact with the leadership of this city. I'm friends with Siren Vale. My son went missing around the same time. Now, I fear that he had some involvement, either for good or ill. And what I ask is for a discreet attempt to find him while you're on your other errands. If you do this for me, I will pay you 500 gold for my personal stash and offer you a rare item of your choosing from my collection.
And how would you describe your son?
Oh, he's about yay tall, and I mean he's a big orc. He's probably about 7 feet, but he's up to his shoulder. He's about this tall. Young. Has one snaggle tooth coming up out of his face. Lower right jaw. He bears a scar from his time in the fighting pits of Branor. Left cheek. He's a bit of a rowdy boy. Often finds his way into less than reputable company.
Disappeared before.
Around the time. Like this? No. Normally, 1-2 days. Drunken bender, like children do. But this is longer. I'm more concerned. I bear you no ill will if you discover that he was involved in the plot in some way. He often falls in with the wrong people, and if you need to deal with him in a very particular manner, my offer still stands. I merely wish to know what happened to him.
Interesting. I think we could definitely keep an eye out.
Excellent.
However, it is not our main purpose. We work for the king.
I understand. I merely ask that you, in your travels, in your investigation of the king's the attempt on his life, I merely ask that you keep an eye out for him.
Very well.
His name is Voltar. Voltar Elcad.
I see Talia taking notes, and I know that everything's already down.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
We have to go now.
looking at the party, and I see him coughing.
He reaches out for your hand.
Yeah. We must go quickly. I'm sorry. And I take his hand.
Best of luck to all of you. May you find what you're looking for. And he turns on his heels and walks away. And turns back. Oh, one more thing. Should you need me, I'm staying in the Red Letter Inn.
Very well.
And he turns back on his heels and walks away.
Okay.
And now you are left basically standing on the edge of the Forum of Rivas, which is hustling and bustling with trade and the various merchants.
I mean, that sounds like an easy job, right? Like, we get some money and a cool thing just for seeing the guy?
It's concerning.
Where's your house?
But, why does he want us to be discreet about this?
That's what's concerning. There's also the implication that he doesn't mind if we kill him.
He knows more.
Definitely.
I start leaving the city.
Just not even stopped at any of the stores. You're just gonna roll the fuck out.
I follow him.
I start heading, I guess, Yips is heading to go get some clothes at least.
Yeah.
We're going home.
So we're just walking through the streets to.
So you would know that the two best places for you to get supplies. There's Guidrill's travel supplies over by the south gate.
No.
Or I
You
guess,
guys can stop
sorry,
her.
the east
It's
gate.
just she knows where she has to go. You guys have to guide her where you need to go first.
There's also the soothing apothecaries. They may have some things that you need on the way out. And for some of your other supplies, if Guidrill doesn't have it, there's also Faldron's Wondrous Goods.
Would I think in this city that I have enough for even a potion of healing?
Yes.
Okay.
The apothecary.
So I'm going there.
So
I
you
guess-
two are just heading straight out.
Okay.
You two are just you're heading straight out, right?
No, I grab her arm and we're headed towards like the traveling supplies.
Okay. I'm going to forego the market and walk towards the Temple of Tyr.
Okay.
So as Yip sees them walking away, he kind of turns around and was like, "Wait! Where should we meet up later?"
At the gate.
His voice hurts.
Trust me, I know.
The west gate.
At the gate to the west. We'll either be leaving or investigating inside.
So yeah, I guess I'll hit the traveling supplies too.
Alright, so who's going to the travel supplies?
I'm going wherever he's leading me.
Okay. Where are you going?
I want to go to the apothecary.
Alright, you're going to the
I already said that
apothecary. So yours is...
I think his is 10.
Yours is 16. Probably the second closest. You guys are 15. You're down by the eastern gate. And the Temple of Tyr is actually right off the Forum of Rivas, southeast. So Mara will be first.
Okay.
It's either that or trek across.
Can you describe the temple for me? Like what I see on the outside ground versus what I see walking in?
Yep. So as you approach, it's right off the edge of the Forum on the southeastern corner. Southwestern corner, sorry. And it's a very sort of nondescript building. There is Tyr's symbol, which is effectively the Scales of Justice, on the outside of the building. Not much else to it. It's a fairly simple structure. When you enter, it's a little bit more ornate. The various sort of pews that are set up for people to be able to sit they have knotwork carved into it. All of it sort of depicting Tyr's feats as the god of justice.
Is there
There are two clerics, one up at the altar sort of tending to it. Another is just sort of speaking with an elderly woman nearby who's sitting at the end of one of the pews. But beyond that, it's sort of low lit, very low key. Up on the altar, they have the Scales of Justice backed by a bastard sword.
Is there a place to pay respects, like light a candle or?
Yeah,
like,
there is a section off to the side where you can light a candle.
Okay. And the head of the order was not the most recent death. It was the second most recent.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I walk over to light a candle.
You hear a voice, and at first you think it's coming from in your head, but then you realize it's actually just the priestess nearby. It's almost like you were underwater for a second, and then boom, while you were focused on what you're doing. Hello, my dear. I see you're lighting a candle. I appreciate your patronage. I see you serve the Lord Demorial. She bows.
I return the bow. Yes, I serve Demariel. but someone I held dear serves Tyr.
Ah. Well, those who follow Tyr often find just rewards at the end.
Tyr is a just god. I am sorry. I have heard of the loss you.
Yes, it was a great tragedy. The High Cleric of Temavin struck down in an alleyway.
I do not want to cry, but I am trying to find out what happened.
Ah, yes, well, we've already interred his body, per the rites, and burned him, per Tyr's wishes, but he was returning from the wharf, treating a fisherman's sick daughter, and he, as he was wont to do, took shortcuts through some of the alleyways. Nothing out of the usual. He passed the typical beggar, Brandon, who often sleeps in one of the alleys not far from here. Gave him a tithe as he was wont to do, and as he was nearing the temple again and the residence, he was struck down from behind in the street. He put up a fight, there was a commotion, people came out to find him bleeding out in the rain in the alley with no sign of anyone else around. But it was brutal. Multiple stab wounds to his back, one across his throat, and the last one, well, that was the one that finished him off. And it was the deepest. It was a stab wound right to the back of the base of his skull. By the time we got to him, there was nothing we could do.
Did he manage to say anything?
No.
I do apologize for making you relive something so hard, but I need to know which alleyway.
The one southwest of here. If you need more information, you could try to seek out the beggar, Brandon. He has no longer been frequenting that alley, but you might be able to find him somewhere within the city. Perhaps if you have other contacts, they may be able to look as well, but he would have seen the most.
I thank you for your time and your information. Just 2 more questions.
Yes.
First, what is Brandon's description?
He's a short man, rather hobbled. Walks with a bit of a hump and a limp on his right leg. His hair is shortly cropped and a bit mangled, and he has a large scar from the war from 20 years ago on his right face. Missing his right ear as well. A bit of hard of hearing in that one. Speak to his left.
Thank you. And my last question, then I shall
Of course.
let you go. You say that he was going to see a fisherman's daughter.
Yes.
To heal. Which fisherman?
Well, I do not know his name, but I know which house he lives in. Outside of the southern gate, if you follow the path east, all the way to the end, it's the last house at the end of the row.
Follow the path east, last house on the end of the row.
Indeed.
She bows.
She returns it and kind of heads back to what she was doing.
And then she faces the candle again and lights another one and then whispers her prayer.
Okay.
Then she leaves.
Okay. Alright, all of you who are going to Guidrill's Travel Supplies, you arrive. Sorry, that you're the closer one. Sorry, my bad. You arrive at Student Apothecaries. It's a decent-sized building on the corner, the southwestern corner of the Trade Square. Shadow of the Clock Tower. There are a number of sort of like vines and plants like hanging on the outside. It almost looks like the building's overgrown. And decrepit, but you realize that there are certain other features that show that it's clearly been kept up with and that all the plants are actually well tended from your expertise as a druid. So,
Okay, I'll go inside.
all right, you enter and the place smells of incense and herbs, and there are sort of bushels of things all over the place, bundles of sage, bundles of basil, thyme. There are distilled oils in bottles, and then there are other bottles up behind the counter. There's nobody there at the moment. There is a small bell on the desk.
So the goods that are out, I might get some regular things that I might use to in worship to my goddess, and then like some sage, and then I gather those things and go up to the front and ring the bell.
Just a moment, dearie.
And eventually, after a few moments, you from the top stairs comes down an older woman.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
How may I help you?
I am not
Can't
the
do the
best
voice.
healer. Could use some assistance there.
She notices the raven pin on your lapel.
Ooh. You be servants of the king.
I am.
Well, I do have some healing potions in stock, though not many, dear.
Hold a moment. She goes back and she kind of grabs several healing potions.
Okay.
Let's say she grabs about 5.
Okay.
This is what I have. And she brings it up and puts it on the table.
Seeing as how you're serving the king, I'll give you a discount.
Much appreciated. They didn't give us much of a stipend.
So she kind of tallies it up.
Yeah, 5 potions.
And these things too.
Oh, and that you can have, darling. I have plenty.
Thank you.
Let's say for all of this, with the discounted rate, about 5 gold.
Done. He puts up 5 gold on the table.
She takes it.
Oh, by the way, I'm running low on reagents for healing potions, so if you're out and about looking for things and you happen to run across any trolls, and, you know,
While I do
if
hope,
you kill any, their beards are excellent ingredients for these potions.
while I do hope we do not run into any, if we should, you shall have the ingredients.
Good, good,
You
good.
have done me a great service. Has your business struggled at all since orc traders went missing?
No.
Heard anything about that?
I did. Yes, I heard that the emissary of the Orc Republic was killed. As a matter of fact, they cleaned it up right outside this very building.
Oh, did they? Messy.
Well, not exactly, but
Did it happen during the day?
his body was bound and dumped at the foot of the clock tower.
That is awful. Anyone talk about that? Anyone say who they think did it?
Well, there's all sorts of speculation around town, you know.
The orcs are so neutral, it doesn't make any sense.
Indeed, that was perhaps the most confusing thing for most. They're very friendly, they're the best traders in the world, and, well, I don't know. Who would ever would want to start a war with the Orc Republic is crazy.
I
Their
agree
ships
with
are
you
far
there.
more advanced, and they've got the coin to buy a huge army.
Yes.
Not to mention leverage all their allies.
I have to agree. Very well. We shall look for the ingredients, and I thank you for your time. So I try to kind of quickly be on my way, because I want to, before meeting back at the gate, go south toward that southern gate,
Okay.
where I know the docks are. Because I'm just going... I have 2 things I want to do, but let them go.
Okay. So the rest of you arrive at Guydrill's Trading Supplies. It's sort of a lone building near the southern gate. Rather ornate looking building. Big sign with like a grappling hook on one end and a fishing lure on the other. And it just says Guydrill's. You enter, it's a big 2-story building. There's stuff everywhere. Shelves all over the place. They got ropes, lanterns, pickaxes, shovels. He's got rations, dry rations, all sorts of stuff.
Bombs, lamp oil.
Traveling clothes.
Yep, he's got traveling cloaks, he's got boots, he's got packs, all that stuff. There's a sort of big guy at the back, big beard, and he's talking to two people, two townsfolk, when you enter. And you all overhear them talking, and the one guy, do you hear what happened north of here? Guidril crosses his arms. No, what happened? Well, my cousin told me that Copperton got overrun by undead. Everybody's dead. That's what he says. The other guy next to him, that didn't happen. Although, I did hear that there's a survivor from the town somewhere in Timmerman. As my wife said anyway. But I don't trust all that gossip. Well, you better believe it, because my cousin says he saw it with his own eyes. Undead wandering the road right by Copperton. Gytrel just looks above them. Look, you can believe in your wives' tales if you want. But that's 5 gold, and that's 2. Settle up. They both kind of... I'm telling you, you be careful. Takes his stuff. Guy walks past you. Kind of nods at all of you. Walks out the door. The other guy does the same thing.
Does he have a daughter?
You're right, energy?
You're right. Gydril looks over. Welcome, friends. Welcome.
Oh,
Emissaries of the king. I see. Welcome to my supply shop. What can I do for you?
Traveling with robes. An adventurer's pack. Boots.
Ah. Yes, boots, cloaks, packs, all over on that side. Anything else that you're looking for?
Something a little less conspicuous to what me and my friend here is wearing. Maybe like a robe or like a cloak or something like that.
Something like a conspicuous voice.
If you go to the 2nd floor, I have cloaks for the small folk like you. You'll be fine with the regular cloaks over there.
Sounds good.
So Yip goes up the stairs, and what does the upstairs look like?
So the upstairs is like literally a mirror image of the downstairs. The only difference is everything here is sized for people that are not big.
Or normal?
It's sort of like the kids section / the hobbit section.
Halfling.
Halfling, yeah.
And you hear Yip yell down from the top.
These are half off, half the size, right?
They're cheaper at least. Interesting friend you've got there.
Yeah, me sure it is.
He's not really a friend.
He talks a lot.
Yes.
More of an acquaintance.
Hey, Crex, they got tiny shoes up here.
My name's not Crex.
Sorry, Mirage.
It's okay, I have a nickname too.
I just sigh and I go to the close.
Do you have a place to change?
Alright, there's 4 rooms in the back over here, just on the left side of the counter.
I go get changed.
Okay.
And then I use prestidigitation to clean my hair, cut it, remove the beard.
Okay. So, for the 2 of you that are down on that floor, when Vandal comes back out, Gydril does a double take at him because he went in raggedy and he came out clean cut, nice trimmed up beard, perfectly cut hair, no smudge marks, no blood from the guards, nothing, perfectly clean.
Interesting trick.
It's called hygiene.
That's what it normally looks like.
He didn't look like that when he came in.
I could have sworn the same thing, but maybe my wife did add a wash basin back there. I'll have to check later. So, anything I can assist you with, dear?
No.
It's an interesting book you got there.
Mm-hmm.
Quivers of arrows.
Aye, I've got some over on the left wall over there.
I go over there and get it.
You find upstairs. You find a collection of cloaks, all sorts of different colors: green, red, blue, purple, black. Couple of you've got some linen cloaks. You've got some wool cloaks. Kind of get your choice there. Same shit down there.
Some that look like they were probably designed to be worn by mommy and have you carried along.
Baby Bjorn. Sean, can I roll to see if I find the Baby Bjorn?
Sure.
I rolled a 2.
You don't find one.
Can you pass that down to Sean, please?
Can I roll would it be an investigation or perception to see if there's anything kind of like more valuable than clothing or anything up here?
I knew it.
He's a thief.
I'll go with perception.
Alright. Also 2.
He was giving gold and rice from the kitchen.
Yeah, no, everything's run of the mill up here. There's nothing special.
Alright, so I come back down with the cloak, and like I'm showing it to everyone, like, they actually got it in my size. And, like he throws it on, and he's just kind of like looking at it.
I'm so proud of you here.
Yeah, it is a lot nicer than the prison garb.
Oh, I can't imagine why.
Fleas?
No, it was wool.
I said fleas, not fleece. I want to pay my bill now.
Let him go ahead.
Okay. What all did you get?
Traveling robes, fully stocked adventurers pack, and boots.
Okay.
Oh, and 2 quivers.
And 2 quivers of arrows. That'll be 8 gold and 50 silver.
I hand him 9 gold.
He starts to make change.
No.
Thank you.
Trust me, you're going to be annoyed. And I start leaving.
Okay, so then Yip walks up to him.
Oh.
That's that bad.
So Yip asks,
Okay, so what I'm looking for is...
he pulls out like a little piece of paper that he has. To anyone that's looking at it, there's no writing on it. It's just straight up scroll, like a doctor would write. And like,
Okay, so I need a thing what holds the lamp oil.
Okay. And he reaches.
Some kind of a lighter, like something with a wick that'll hold longer. Not a lamp, but something smaller.
You know, I don't think you should be giving him this.
I'm starting to wonder that too. You want a wick or a flint and tinder?
A wick, something like you got the lamps that are the full size, but something small, what you can fit in your pocket.
He puts the flint and tinder back. If you want a wick, you have to buy the lamp. I don't sell extra wicks.
What's the smallest lamp you got?
Upstairs, back wall on the right.
Okay, 1 second.
you hear,
Now where's that wick?
Kobolds are quite the...
What is that?
He looks over his shoulder. Oh, the shield? It's a family heirloom. My great-grandfather claims it's a dragon scale shield, but it's hard to say. No one's seen a dragon in, well, over 100 years. They're all dead as far as anyone knows.
As of 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Young lady, I mean, no one's seen a dragon in 100 years.
Maybe you haven't.
You've seen a dragon in the last 10 years?
I didn't say I saw one.
I was gonna say, you look old enough that you would have been part of your figment of your imagination.
I'm older than that, sir.
Apologies.
Nothing changes.
12 to actually find the lamp.
Okay, yeah, you find it.
So I come back down, put it on the counter.
Slides the oil over, puts it with the lamp.
And, you got any kind of oil what's like not the lamp oil? Something real slick?
You mean like, grease?
Yeah.
Hold, please.
Please don't do it.
He basically pulls out like a little, ye old WD-40.
It still says WD-40, but it's like in the fancy script.
Please write that down.
The old WD-40.
Slides it over. There you go. A little bit of grease to loosen the hinges, am I right?
Don't hang him on.
Perfect.
Okay, and
How much?
For you, for that,
Say 70.
that's about 3 gold total.
You really should have highballed that.
alright, so he puts 3 gold coins on the table and takes it.
Takes it over. And you, sir?
So, you say what kind of cloaks do they have? Yeah, the linen.
They've got like a linen cloak, wool cloaks.
Alright, I pick up a linen cloak and then I ask him,
Do you have any rope?
Hey, how many lengths do you need?
Let's say 30 feet.
Well, I got a 50-foot here for...
That works.
He basically gives you a huge bushel of it.
and then I ask him about like bed supplies or like sleeping stuff.
Like a bedroll and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Middle aisle over there in the center.
Fetcher's kit.
What is your family name?
Roger.
Varlin. Guidril Varlin.
Of the Pennsylvania Varlins.
Why do you ask?
Just curious.
He looks over at the shield. Find everything you're looking for.
Yeah.
Take everything to the counter and then lay the price on me.
4 gold.
Alright.
Take it out of my pouch, give it to him.
Appreciate your business.
Yeah.
Hope you all have what you need for the road.
Be seeing you.
Best of luck with whatever the king is sending you on.
One more thing. How many barbarians you got?
None.
Do you know where I can get some?
Don't answer his question.
You could perhaps try in the old fish market. There are vendors that, vendors there that might have those odds and ends and trinkets, or, that scoundrel Faldrin always has some interesting stuff. He might have some for you.
What about marbles? I always seem to be losing mine.
And then he gives everyone like a really big smile, like he's looking expectantly.
He just kind of looks and
You
looks.
remember the last time somebody used barbarians around us, right?
Oh, and then his face drops. You remember.
Never mind.
Well, best of luck then, friend.
I'm gonna turn around and walk out now.
Goodbye. She's an odd one.
We're all a bit off.
Not me. I'm perfectly normal.
Yeah, okay.
And with that, you guys walk out of the building. And we're going to take a brief break.
Nope, leave it on main screen.
Oh, yeah, we're going to leave it on this screen. That's right. We're going to take a brief break so everybody can run to the bathroom, get some drinks, whatever they need to do.
If you have any questions, oh man.
Cat's there.
Oh, Murphy.
Murphy. Where's his name tag?
Boom. Name tag, cat of the day.
There we go. Cat of the day. Murphy.
Alright, so you guys leave Guidrol's travel supplies. Thanks for making him come with the last name. Good job on you.
What was the last name again?
Varlin. I actually wrote it down.
So did I.
So we pick back up with Mara, who makes her way to the alley where the murder happened. And much like the priest indicated, there's nobody here. The alley's pretty empty. With your... was it perception or investigation?
It was an investigation of 17.
Investigation. It's been a couple weeks, but you do find some really old bloodstains on the walls. You find a couple of also damaged sections of different buildings and barrels and stuff out back. So the fight was pretty brutal. Whoever attacked him, yeah, they were definitely out for blood on it. And he fought back pretty well because there's obvious strikes from a mace at certain spots. But you can basically piece together that he was definitely ambushed in this alley, and the only person that you gather that would have seen anything would be the beggar that she mentioned to you.
Okay.
But you don't find anything else of note other than sort of the remnants of the crime scene.
Just to be thorough, and because I have the spell, detect magic.
Okay. You cast it, and there's nothing near you lighting up with any magical energy of any significance.
And I walk the whole length of the alley, still nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
If there was any traces of magic here, it's long gone.
Right. Then I guess I'm gonna head to the west gate.
Okay. We pick back up with Renthal, who's headed towards the south gate.
Yes. So, I go out toward the docks, and I'm kind of looking around for where they might sell shipping supplies. Not shipping supplies, but like
boating supplies? Or?
Yeah, stuff that the dock guys might need.
Okay.
Okay.
On your way to the gate, you actually run into Mara, who's basically comes out of the alley towards the gate.
Wrong gate. I was gonna go south.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys run into each other at the south gate, basically. So do you ask around to try to figure out where to go for that?
Probably if there's soldiers at that gate. Yeah.
There's a couple guards at the gate. Yeah, they're again still kind of these guys are nonchalantly just kind of leaning on the wall.
If I run into her on the way there, I would ask her where she's going. So, Mara, was it?
Yes. Ren?
Yes. Still going to the west gate.
Actually, I think I should head south.
And why is that?
When I spoke to the clerics at the Temple of Tyr, they explained to me that the night of the murder for the head of their order, he was coming back from a fisherman's house. He had gone to assist them with healing their daughter. She didn't know which fisherman, but she gave me the location of his house. And considering that one of the victims was a fisherman.
Makes sense. I also wanted a little more information before we moved on. I thought I would go ask about the dock master. The one that was also murdered.
Then I guess I shall join you once again.
Very well. So, I guess make way to the gate. You said they're leaning against the post. Yep. Soldier.
How can I help you?
Looking for supplies.
Oh, serving to the king, eh?
We are.
What kind of supplies? Guidrol's your best bet for travel.
Guidrils. Back this way.
Aye, if you're looking for travel supplies, but depends what you're looking for.
Run of the mill. Things you might use on a dock.
Oh, then you want to go out the south gate.
head east. Go to the Felonious Mermaid. It's a tavern, I know. But, he also sells supplies to the fishermen.
Very well. Thank you.
Word to the wise. Watch your coin purse.
Understood.
And your back.
Noted.
So you head out, and the air here smells terrible. A lot of small houses and shanties kind of on top of each other. You make your way slightly east of the gate to one of the largest buildings there, the big sign, and it's literally a mermaid cutting a coin purse. That's literally what the image is. Big old felonious mermaid.
I do secure my coin purse.
You know, it's only like mid-morning, and there's dudes already getting thrown out for being too drunk.
Right.
I also secure my purse and I move my shield so that it is very much protecting my back.
The bouncer at the door sees you. Can I help you?
Just some questions, and I kind of show my insignia.
No. Well, you'll want to talk to him inside.
Thank you.
Kind of opens the door, lets you go. Inside, the place is packed. There's sailors from the ships that have come downriver, sailors from the dock out by the ocean, the small town. They actually come all the way in here to get drinks when they're on their shore leave. So, you know, there's card games everywhere, guys throwing darts, competitions, drunks, everything. This place is like packed. The floor has kind of got this slimy sheen on it from too much beer, vomit, food, all kind of smashed in.
All the lovely things.
You?
But behind the bar is a Goliath.
Okay, not the first one I've seen.
About 8 feet tall, big, cleaning the mugs, and he's just mean mugging everybody. He sees you. He sees you, and he just
Because it's cleaning the mugs.
kind of looks at the two of you. Can I help you?
So quickly, I give a druidic greeting, just in case. Just because the only other Goliath I knew.
Is druid.
So, but then I say, just some questions, if you don't mind.
Always happy to help a servant of the king.
Thank you.
He gives you, both of you, drinks on the house.
I appreciate it. I just kind of...
I do not touch mine either, but I do give him a respectful bow.
Now, what can I do for you?
So, we're told the dock master here met with an untimely end.
Aye. Rest his soul, the master of ships. And you just, from around the bar, master of ships! And then they just start drinking even heavier.
Well respected, man. Yeah, I think I'll feign a drink on that, Sensei. Just like that.
Bluff.
Good bluff. Deception 19.
Alright. It's totally believable. Everyone thinks you took a swig.
Okay.
He was a good man. He was good to the only people that matter. The ones here.
Well respected.
So the king wants you to look into his murder then, huh?
Among others. Could be a connection.
Dark business.
Indeed. Know anything about it?
Know anything about it? I inherited this place from the proprietor himself. Nigh 3-4 weeks ago when he got murdered in the street by his competitor.
His competitor.
Aye. The, idiot that owned Fletcher's Ale, the tavern in the north part of town.
The two barmen, the ones who started this.
Rumor has it they killed each other. Only I don't know that I believe it.
What was his name?
The former owner of the guy up north.
The former owner.
AKA Berna's making it up.
His name was Phil and Gent. And the other guy, well, Fletcher, my namesake of his tavern. Fletcher Roll.
Excuse me. Sorry, out of character, Mr. DM.
Did I say another name
You
earlier?
gave me a Paul
Waldron Paul.
Waldron Paul as one of the names.
That's the guy's name, not Fletcher Roll. Thank you. I should have written that down.
And the other guy was Phil again.
I actually did write that down, and then didn't
Why
write what it
was
was.
Fletcher Cox?
Verna, I have rolled a 19 for perception to figure out if this guy is being above averagely deceitful.
Roll a
Insight.
insight check.
Insight, okay. 16. Also 19.
Okay. No, he doesn't seem to be. He seems to be shooting it straight.
Okay.
So you were in position to take over this establishment.
I've been a second for years. I was a second on the ship, and been a second ever since he bought this place. They didn't have any other family. Well, if you ask me, the circumstances surrounding both their deaths is a little suspicious. Have a hard time believing they killed each other.
The timing is strange.
The stab wounds in each of their backs is strange. You mean to tell me, like the guards say, that a man as fat as Waldron Paul was hugging Phil and Gent and they stabbed each other in the back? I don't think so. That seems lazy to me.
What other wounds did they have?
Just multiple stab wounds to the back.
Any to the back of their necks?
Don't recall hearing anything about that, but then never saw either of the bodies anyway.
Let me ask you this. This is the bunch, I'm kind of looking around. They would come up with theories. Some of them harebrained.
Right.
Probably heard a good one. What do you think?
Well, the most common one, although why it would apply to those two idiots, is the Black Hand of Athkar. You know, the Assassin's Guild out of Crimport?
Heard of them.
Like I said, why there'd be a contract on those two, don't know. But the other ones might make sense. I mean, that orc that got killed, the Dragornian, master of ships, and then you hear the whole, master of ships, and the whole bar.
Tell me,
It's infectious.
if you know the others, did they also have stab wounds to the back?
It's about the only thing that's been clear, except the Dragornian. That was a distance kill.
The orc was bound, left in the streets. Found out in the trade district.
Did they tell you what they bound him with, or was she,
No,
were they too kind to you?
didn't mention it.
His entrails.
Lovely.
And like I said, the
damn.
Dragornian, that was a distance kill. Crossbow, poisoned.
Would you want to face a Dragonian in combat?
No, how do you think my people lost their empire?
To change the grimness of the conversation, I've heard tell that a few of the children in the area have been ill.
Aye, dock fever happens once a year, right about the change of the season. You're talking about the girl the priest saw before he died. Yeah?
I would be, yes.
Down at the end of the street, last house. Little Lena.
One more question. How important was the dockmaster to the minister? What kind of trade is done here exactly?
Well, mostly fishing from the river, but we get trade from upriver down from the Republic of Tormund, comes this way before it hits the ocean. So a lot of trade flows from the western part of Athkar down through here, from the Pool of Ruathor. And then from here, well, we traded up north to the Dragornian Empire, up to Crimport.
From everything we've heard, everyone involved, not a terrible person. Doesn't make a lot of sense. A little bit of connection in the trade.
Aye, on my theory,
I would love to hear it.
whoever killed him, they want to disrupt trade in the region. My money's on the Merchants Guild.
Merchants Guild.
Aye.
Where do they hold up?
And they've got a location not far from the castle, just southeast of it. The Broadsword Guild. They'd seek to benefit by disrupting the trade contracts of the Orc Republic, starting a war, getting the king overthrown. They weren't too fancy with King Brower to begin with.
Not bad. I thank you for your information. I leave him a gold. And your time.
Aye. He takes it, you see him kind of...
So I look at Mara to see if she's done with any questions.
I also pay him a gold and give him a bow.
He takes it, but he actually doesn't check her gold, he just pockets it.
It's because you're suspicious.
You're sus.
Okay. And then I'm leave there. I'm gonna kind of wait for her because I assume she's gonna want to go down to that building that he described to us.
I will, but first, I want to check on the child.
Fair enough.
And then I actually do know where the child lives because I wrote that down. Just not which gate to go out of.
House at the end of the lane.
Yes. So I make my way to the house at the end of the lane.
As we're walking, I don't want to frighten the child. Perhaps just the one of us will do. And I kind of walk out over into an alley. If you're watching me, I transform into a cat. And I come back out and I walk alongside you.
Well then, full of surprises.
Alright.
So I gotta know, what does the cat look like?
What's that?
Say
It looks
Murphy.
like Murphy.
Say Murphy.
It's a white and gray cat. It has kind of almost feral looking features.
It's
Like,
a
well, obviously feral,
Big
but like
orange cat.
I look almost like a wolf face, even though I'm just a cat.
This wolf-faced cat.
The wolf-faced cat.
You had so many,
that's a
so many things you could have gone with, and you should have just said Murphy.
Okay.
You want to say Fred? You should just assume.
Back to the rest of you. You guys arrive at the west gate. And those two are not there. You overhear along the way a couple more people talking about Copperton and the undead that supposedly wiped out the town. Others speculate it was actually just a marauding band of trolls.
Were they bearded?
I mean, all trolls are bearded. Another speculates that it was the Dragornians wiping out the town as revenge for their emissary being killed. Of course, one guy calls him stupid because he's like, why would they do that? It's just a small nothing town along on the road north. Which starts a whole other fight and debate about how dare you insult the town. Yeah, so what do the four of you do?
I go a couple hundred feet outside the gate and I sit down alongside the road.
Okay.
Are there people moving in and out of the town?
Yeah, I mean, there's merchants and everything. That's what you're overhearing the conversation. A couple
Okay.
guards still.
So I'm just kind of, I walk over and sit next to him. And I'm just kind of like, I have my book out, and as things are being
Your
said.
new friends are tedious.
What?
Your new friends are tedious.
I only know one of them.
They're late.
So I kind of walk over near them, and can I roll to see if I want to be a perception to see if I hear anything else interesting?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 13.
Okay. You overhear a merchant talking about, did you hear the other day about that farmer? What was his name? Craig. Can't remember his first name, but claims his boy's back. Nah, you kidding. There's no way. That kid's been gone for what, 5 years? Now he shows up? Yeah, somebody claims they saw him in the castle with the king. Well, shit. Somebody better tell him. And they just kind of move on. Means nothing to you, really.
Yeah.
It means something to you.
So I go over them and I kind of relate like what I
How
heard.
long
Like,
do we have to wait for them?
Until they get back, Vandal.
so I go over there and was like, and these people are boring. He's talking about farmers' sons and Craigs and what have you.
Yeah, they're talking about Vandal.
What? What about me?
Have you not been to see your father?
No.
You've been gone for 5 years and you didn't go see him?
Why does everyone keep saying that?
Saying what?
It's been 4 years.
It's been 5 years.
No, it's been 4.
It's been 5.
I spent 5 years in prison. It's been 5.
10 minutes in prison together would probably feel like 5 years.
It felt like 25.
Oh, come on, it went by pretty quick.
Yeah, for you.
I don't understand. So, what have you been doing for 5 years?
Well, I spent the first year looking for you, and then I got summoned to the college, so I went to the college. But I've been...
What college?
The College of Temerven.
Temerven has a college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did you study?
Magic.
Oh.
Dragons.
Okay. So is this like a theoretical study? Or have you actually been able to lay your hands on a dragon? Just trying to understand.
I'm studying the history of dragons.
Okay. These guys have been in prison. Mara seems off.
Mara said that she was doing penance.
Penance for what? And how does Matthews feel with this?
Matthews is gone, Vandal.
What?
Matthews died,
When?
and Mara tried to resurrect him.
What?
And then you disappeared.
What? What?
I think he might have amnesia.
been going for
How
5
did he
years.
die?
From the battle.
He actually sits there for a few minutes, just kind of very deep in thought.
Trying to noodle that out.
I don't know what Chris would do, really.
Other than stand around and wait.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't know who to talk to.
you just kind of look at him and is like, are you alright?
No. Yes. I will be.
Where have you been?
So, I remember being struck by the sword. I remember feeling the energy of the blade coursing through, and then I woke up in the plains northeast of here. Lost. Very weak. And I've spent the better part of, I would say, the next 3 years trying to heal. I found a place in the woods.
And that is where we are going now?
Yes. But I've only been living there for about 2 years. Apparently I'm missing time.
Clearly.
Which is funny. Because you can't really miss time, can you? So have you been home?
I've talked to your father every month since you disappeared.
How is he?
Lost.
And your mother?
The same.
I imagine the bullies in town leave you alone now.
No.
Reason of them.
Alright. Let me segue back to you two. You've arrived at the house at the end of the lane. With the cat on your hip. And it's a small nondescript shack. Doors closed. Windows are open. You know, get some air, fresh air during the day.
Okay. I walk to the door and gently knock on it.
I go for the window.
I, however, make sure my king pendant is hidden.
Okay.
I jump in the window and look around.
Okay. So you can see the little girl that's running to the door. Just a second. And you hear the bolt slide and the door opens. Hello? And she's just kind of looking up at you.
Her name is Liara or Lenara?
Lena.
Lena. Okay. Hello. Are you Lena?
Yes? That's what some people call me.
What do others call you?
Pain underfoot.
Well, hello, Lena. Is your mother or your father, are they home?
Well, Mama died of the sickness 3 years ago, but Dad's out fishing. Can I help you?
Yes. And I'm sorry to be a bother. I won't take up much time. But,
That's okay, I got plenty of time.
Mara pulls out her Demerl symbol, and she sits down, or gets down to Lena's height. Do you remember the man who came to help you?
Yeah, the high priest,
I don't remember his name, but he was really nice.
Yes. Something bad happened to him after he left.
That's what my dad said, and I made sure that it wasn't my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault. But I wanted to know if you remembered anything from when he came and healed you.
Well, let's see. He checked on me every day for like a week. And he gave me good stuff to eat. And he gave me some really nasty stuff to drink. And he did some spells. And I felt a lot better by the time he was done. But it was dark when he left. I remember that. And it was raining.
Did he ever talk about how he walked here? Which way he would take?
Well, I mean, that's kind of silly. The only way back in is the south gate. So he would go that way, and then I don't know what he did from there.
Okay.
There's lots of people that need his help.
Was there ever anyone who followed him?
No, not that I know of. Although sometimes he brought that guy around with him. The beggar guy. Oh, that's not nice. Dad told me not to call him that. The less fortunate guy.
His name is Brandon, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Have you seen Brandon since?
No, but he only ever came outside the walls when he was with the priest guy.
And how are you feeling now?
Much better. I can run around and get all sorts of underfoot.
And your sickness?
Oh, it's all good now.
Right. But do you get it every year? Or was this new?
First time for me, but I had some friends who got it, and then there's poor little Johnny. Well, we still play with him, me and the others, but the grown-ups all say that we're crazy because Johnny's not there anymore. His mom gets real upset too and mad, and she yells at us not to say that we're playing with Johnny because she said that he went to see some guy. I don't know, but he's gone, she says, and she gets real mad.
I see. I will have to look for Johnny later.
Okay. Well, if you see him, tell him I said hi and he smells like a fish.
Is
Yeah, keep your straight face down.
okay. Okay. Well. Damn it.
You're a problem, sir. You're a real problem.
Thank you very much. And I pull out a sweet, a candy, and hand it to her.
Ooh, this is what the priest man gave me too. You're a nice lady.
Thank you.
And she just pops in her mouth.
And I make my way.
She's showing, bye-bye!
Bye.
Taking candy from a stranger.
It was a different time.
What's up? Completely out of character, I gotta ask a question.
Yeah.
Is that kid actually dead already?
Yeah, he's dead.
No, the girl.
Oh no, the girl's not
It's
dead.
like a full-on Sixth Sense, like I see dead people.
You know, the girl's not dead.
Okay.
Johnny's dead.
Okay.
What were you doing during all of this?
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was jump on the windowsill and take a look around. I made a perception check. 26.
Okay.
24.
Obviously, the family's pretty poor. There's not much in terms of belongings. There's sort of an open pit where they cook their food.
Okay. I'm looking for evidence that she doesn't live alone.
Oh yeah. Her father clearly lives there.
Okay.
There's a second extra pair of boots, some clothes, dirty clothes like left in a corner.
There's no bigger Brandon sitting around?
No.
Okay.
No, he did too.
Before I get too far away,
Yeah.
I look over to her, and I ask, Lena, the shipping master,
Oh yeah, Dad liked him.
were they friends?
That guy was friendly with everybody. He even liked the little kids.
Did you like him?
Yeah, he was a nice man. It's very sad what happened to him.
Mm-hmm. Did he like your friend, the priest?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, like, before she finishes the conversation, as I see it,
Yeah.
I just kind of jump down, scurry back over, wait for her to close the door, come back out in view.
Okay. Yeah, she once Mara walks away, she closes the door and you can hear her rebolt it.
Okay.
And then I look to you and I say, the beggar that she speaks of, his name is Brandon. The cleric would often pay him a tithe every time he saw him. He witnessed, or many believe that he witnessed what happened, but he will be hard to find.
I'm a cat still, so I can't talk, but I walk in the direction that that house is, the other house that we're supposed to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like walk to it, walk back, walk to it, and then look back at you.
Yes, I will follow.
Okay. Go that way.
And where are you headed now?
What was it? The
The Broadsword Guild?
No, I thought that
The Merchant Guild?
Merchant Guild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Broadsword Guild.
Oh.
Okay.
And that's all the way up here.
You know what? If you have nothing else to do down here,
They have nothing
or
else.
okay. I think instead I would go back to the West Gate now.
Okay. So, you're still a cat, right?
So I'll be a cat for
I'm
the town.
following the cat to the
Okay.
West Gate.
Most people pay no mind. There's plenty of cats walking around.
They're wolf-faced cats.
No, that part's a little unique. But most people don't notice the difference without, really paying attention.
I still don't know the difference.
Eventually,
Has the face of a wolf.
eventually you make it to the West Gate. And just outside under a tree, you see kind of these four just sitting there waiting for you guys.
Okay. This is where I transform back.
Okay.
Just a note, I will not look at Vandal in the in the eyes.
Okay.
Okay. Learn anything?
Yes, your punctuality is lacking. And I start walking down the road.
Okay. He starts to head north, up the road.
I've learned some things.
Is it how to talk and walk at the same time?
I can
Because
do
if it's
that.
not, we don't have time.
Understand. Start walking with you.
I start following them too, but I look at them like, where are we going?
I think this one's in poor health.
I mean, you was looking like kind of off into space a little while ago.
I
So
don't
what
know
else
what
did
you're
you
talking
discover?
about. Some people think it's the Black Hand.
Of course they do. Every commoner needs a boogeyman, don't they?
But I'm not convinced. There's quite a few connections with the trade of this town. And there's a rival trade guild named Broadsword? The Broadsword Merchant Guild.
And that's
Something we should
a
investigate.
rival to the town?
Rival trade.
To whom?
To the orcs.
And also
Orcs running trade.
Also, not friendly with the king.
I'm sure in a political arena most people are not friendly with the king. Unless you're the king.
Still, worth investigating. I haven't seen any hard evidence to lead to the Black Hand. Also, I think Mara can tell you. Some of them seem to know each other.
Mars still seems to have a problem looking at me. Hard to tell me anything, isn't it?
Mara can speak for herself.
How fascinating.
Where's your house?
And he pulls out a map and he shows you. As soon as I find that map.
Exactly where that house
It's
is.
this one. So we gotta go up here, right?
Yep.
And then over.
To the town of Dolbrin and then east, right?
And
Or
then
no, west.
west.
Dolbrin's Crossing. That's where you guys are headed next.
So, question. Can we cut across?
Yes.
The Hoarder Troll.
Technically, you could go off the beaten path to get to the Ravenwood. There's not much at this part that you'll run into. It's a fairly well-patrolled area, so it's fairly safe to go off the road here.
Does it save us time?
Yes.
Then let's do that.
Doesn't bother me.
What was Mirage going to say?
I really think you need to get that cough under control.
Why do you
Agreed.
think we're going to his house?
After a few years, it's really good for your core strength.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
There was that guy in prison. What had the cough like that, remember?
No, I don't. I try to sleep.
I think that was the problem. He was coughing all night. Until one night some of the boys came in there and they did something, but next night he wasn't coughing no more, so he must have gotten better.
Or dead.
Yes.
Mara, what were you going to say?
There were several connections between the victims. In particular, the priest and the cleric and the
Minister of Ships.
minister of ships. The cleric brought him to the dock to help with the dock fever that came about. He was friendly with the minister of ships and just about everyone. And the two barmen, they supposedly hugged each other and stabbed each other in the back.
Well, that sounds like most political arenas.
Except
Maybe
that,
not quite so literally.
except that they hated each other.
Well, then the stabbing is on point, but the hugging probably not so much.
I'm told one of them was far too rotund for something like that.
I'm not sure what you mean, but I'm fairly sure you just told me he was too fat to hug.
Or stabbed in the back in that manner.
Not to mention
Hard to reach back, I am.
Not to mention that both the cleric and the master of ships were stabbed in the back.
So that's 4 of the 6
Mm-hmm.
that are dead by knife.
The orc trader. His seemed pretty violent. Wrapped in his own entrails. Bound. Left out in the town.
Someone's an overachiever. Usually just releasing one's entrails is enough to kill them.
Someone wanted to send a message.
And the Draconian,
Or what message?
killed from afar. Poisoned arrow.
Poison.
And there's a witness.
A witness to all 6 murders.
No, only to one.
Just the one, okay? Who?
A beggar who spoke to the cleric as he was returning to the temple. He was in the alleyway when the cleric was attacked.
How do you know he was there when he was attacked?
That is what the cleric told me.
It was also corroborated by a girl in the dock town.
The one that the cleric went to go heal.
So this beggar traveled with the cleric.
It would seem strange.
She said it. He did it often. Not so strange when you consider the beggar would often get a tithe from the cleric.
One other note. These men seemed well liked. The minister, the cleric, not evil men.
Even the barmen seem to
And
be
this
well liked.
Broadsword Guild, while opposing the king, is still the primary trading guild of the city.
I'm
Is
not
that
clear
correct?
on that, but a competitor, at least. That's all I know. On our return, I think we know where to ask.
It does seem to me that it is odd that all of your murders seem to make a show of it.
Everyone seems to know about them.
I'm more specifically pointing out that stabbed in the back, poisoned arrow, tied up with your own entrails.
Trying to make a show of it.
It's almost as if the murders are trying to point out that it was done by a master assassin of some sort.
Or some dark organization.
Or some bogeyman.
It's a smoke and mirrors.
That much seems evident. We shall get to the bottom of it. But first, must get you well.
So by nightfall, you guys reach the southern part of the Ravenwood. And you're not far from the ruins of Raven's Hollow at this point. You're all just following Vandal because you're not 100% sure where you're going exactly. And eventually you come into a clearing that is starting to become overgrown, but there are still remnants of severely charred ground visible. The town here is basically destroyed. Some stuff's burned straight to the ground. Others are just have been abandoned for so long that they're in disrepair. The large sort of temple and manor house that sort of flank the town square are larger there, but completely overgrown. Roofs are collapsed. No one has lived here in some time. Can I get knowledge checks out of you, Mara, Talia with advantage,
Wait, is this...
Renthal with disadvantage, and you with advantage?
Insight?
What do you want?
History.
History, yeah, sorry.
25.
17.
10.
16.
Okay.
30, 20.
Okay. And your character already knows this, so I'm not gonna bother. But so everybody but Ren knows this town. Raven's Hollow ended up being the center of a battle between the heroes of Athkar and the Dark Leader of the Crimson Chalice and two of his lieutenants. The town was completely destroyed in the... it was engulfed in that battle and destroyed as a result. Mara, you have a particular connection to the town because there are several gravestones in the graveyard that have your family's name on them. Because you were originally born here.
Fun. Fun.
So Talia, I'm like, who knew there was a town in these woods?
I ignore the whole party and go straight for where I guess they would have made the mass graves.
Yeah. Yeah, so you find sort of the indented cemetery over by the edge of the woods. The northern edge of the woods.
He's looking, he's referencing that right now.
Talia, you would know that and be able to tell Ren that the survivors of the town relocated and rebuilt in the northern part of the wood across the river and built Raven's Sorrow.
A hopeful name.
I'm gonna be letting it.
Okay. So Vandal also beelines, much like Mara. Mara basically stops at the headstones, kind of falls to her knees. Vandal just kind of walks past her.
Are you walking out of the town? Like we got to the town and you're just walking through it and getting...
He's walking to the northwestern part of the clearing.
Okay.
So you're kind of like looking at them, trying to like decide who he should follow, and he just kind of looks at Vandal and starts following behind him.
Okay.
Like since Vandal's like beeline, like Yip's kind of behind him, trying to
keep up.
You said this place is mostly destroyed.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just peering around, looking at everything, I guess.
Okay. You can make an investigation check.
What is that? 8. Wait. Yes. The line's on the bottom, correct?
Yeah.
8.
Alright, and you overturn a rock and find another rock.
Nice.
That's a cool
Nice.
You don't find much. You find sort of destroyed family heirlooms. There's nothing of any real value that you're discovering as you're kind of peering around.
Is
But
there a burnt tree around?
there's a lot of burnt trees around.
A tree in the middle of something?
Yep, there's a couple trees in the middle of the clearing. But these are fresh trees that grew after the fact.
I'm following him.
Following Vandal.
Yep.
Okay. What is Mara doing?
She's praying.
Okay.
And doesn't give two shits
Right.
about them.
What do? Do you stay around the town while she's kind of praying over at the cemetery, or do you end up following them?
Yeah, I'll go off and follow them.
Okay. After a while, you're totally alone at the gravestones. You can see your mother, your father, your younger brother, and then other townsfolk. And just kind of all the memories of you being saved by the local druid who took you to the Knights of the Order, who ended up sort of adopting you and raising you, kind of flood back. You guys, the rest of you, follow Vandal into the northwestern part of the wood, and he takes you out of the clearing and down a small path, and eventually you come upon another house. It's also fairly dilapidated, but this one actually looks like it's had some repairs made to it, because there's like fresh sections of the roof. The door is actually on its hinges and not falling off. The windows are either boarded up or fixed. And Vandal basically walks up and like pries a board away and pulls a key out, unlocks the door, and goes in.
Out front, you guys notice there's a small like service fire, and like multiple racks of like hides that are in mid-process of being tanned.
And when you guys go inside, you're basically greeted with like a almost two-room shack. There is a set of stairs that goes down below the house. There's a set of stairs that goes up that is largely still blocked. He hasn't really repaired the second floor. But this main floor consists of sort of like a sitting area and a kitchen. Off the back is a bedroom, but Vandal comes in and basically beelines downstairs into the basement.
I'm following him.
I guess when I first come in and I see everything that there was there, Vandal, how long were you here?
4 years.
4 years.
Since a couple of days after I found myself in the field. This is the clearing I woke up in.
Which you would know is like miles and miles and miles away from where you guys fought that battle.
I see multiple problems with what he said, so I just don't say anything.
It's a nice place you got here. It's a very rustic.
Were you trading skins?
After my arm started recovering, I still couldn't pick up a sword. So I practiced with a bow.
Makes sense.
You guys actually look on the wall, and there's this handcrafted bow that is really shoddily made.
Okay.
Clearly not by a bowyer. But Vandal comes out of his bedroom putting on a necklace that now that you guys see it, you all remember him wearing it, except now it's got a crack halfway through it. And the blue crystal that used to be mounted in it is shattered.
I'm kind of looking around. Is it dangerous out in these woods? Anything to be concerned about? Because I don't see Mara here with us.
Boars, bears, a few trolls. Trolls tend to stay away. They don't like arrows either.
Maybe we need to go get her soon if she doesn't show up here.
Yes, if you guys would like to wait here, I can go get her.
You, first your medicine.
I have it. Thank you.
I'll go with you.
Okay. Me and Ren.
Yeah.
While he's gone, I'm gonna start snooping. I'm
Same.
gonna snoop all over this house.
Okay.
Snoop.
What about you?
Dog!
He has an inkling that this guy's like a little unstable, so
Maybe.
and he's just
An
gonna
inkling.
he's gonna appear, look at them going through stuff, and then assess the situation.
Okay. So while they're walking back to Mara,
We're bonding over snooping.
go ahead and give me investigation checks, each of you.
Me included, or
If you're looking around like they are.
Damn, this
Otherwise.
sucks.
Same. 6.
9.
Okay.
Bad
The place is nicer than you would expect for sort of like a rundown shack in the middle of a burned out clearing.
Rundown shack.
Hey, that's my home you're talking about?
Hey, this economy,
My
that's,
hometown.
that's at least
Literally, that's my
$200,000.
home.
My hometown, man.
But he's made an effort to put some nicer furnishings in here. But there's also a disconnect between the style choices. Because you go from some very sort of low-key, like, a nice handcrafted table, but it's very...
Something that I would expect him to have in there?
Yeah, something...
Utilitarian.
Yeah, something fairly utilitarian that's nice, but not fancy. To the bed frame in his room, which clearly he salvaged from the manor house because it is sort of has these gilded knotwork on the frames. You sort of discover the smattering of this mismatch throughout the house. In one room there's an ornate rug, the other, the floor is bare and swept, but that's about it. When you go downstairs, you find one door that's locked at the back of the cellar, and the rest of it is, again, sort of this mismatch. One side is perfectly organized. Every root and vegetable is like labeled and sealed up, and the other side is just like kitchen tools and dirty rags and everything else just kind of strewn about the shelves. And like I said, the door at the back of the basement is locked.
I would like to use my thieves' tools to pick the lock on the door.
Make a roll.
cannot help him.
For thieves' tools, is there an ability score I add? Or is it...
I think
It's Dex plus your proficiency because you're
Dex.
proficient in the tools.
Yeah.
And roll with advantage because he's going to assist you.
8, 10, 14. Oh, no, that was a 14. 14 plus 6. Dirty 20.
Okay, so you successfully pick the lock on the door, and it swings open because it's shoddily constructed. It wasn't actually supposed to be here. Inside, the tables, left, center, and right, are very ornate, obviously taken from the manor house. Salvaged from it, at least. On the left, you have a set of lab equipment and various potions and things being distilled. You would recognize this from your patron, who had something similar in his setup when he commissioned you for the Dragon's Egg. Center table is covered in notes, just sheets of paper all over the place, organized into stacks that you can investigate for more information. On the right, it's just like reagents and components. Like there are, offhand, you see sort of pieces of like troll fingers, and you see like animal parts and other things sort of stacked and organized in jars, bottles, and shelves.
Troll beer.
But the thing that catches your eye the most is the writing on the walls. Every wall down here is covered in writing that, for the most part, none of you understand. You don't know the language that it's written in. But it's scrawled on every inch of every wall. It's on the ceiling. It's on the floor.
All work and no play makes a dull boy.
Yeah.
I did a 24 investigation on the notes. I'm looking for a couple things specifically. One, does the handwriting look like Vandal's? Because being his childhood friend, I know what the hell his handwriting looks like.
So,
and I know something's not right.
So for most of the papers, it starts in Vandal's handwriting and then changes to this very fine, super neat script. Some of it is in common. You can read it. It's actually musings on the passage of time and how the mind can forget things, and how it can struggle to recover it. You have other notes upon the local flora and fauna of the wood. Full-on examinations of each building in the town, cataloging the summation of who possibly lived there, what the family history might have been, so on and so forth. You also have stacks and stacks of writing that are in the same language that is covering the room that you can't understand. There are bits and pieces of it that are you've seen from your study at the college that are written in ancient Dragornian, but it's a language that most people can't read, and even you can't decipher. There's a couple of words you can pick out here and there.
Okay, so I know that it's Dragornian. I just...
You know, but it's a very, very ancient dialect of it. Yeah. Anybody else? Because you're looking specifically, yeah, you can try to investigate or perception or anything like that.
Yeah, so Yip is just kind of looking like,
I think we might have a problem here.
22.
22?
Yeah.
Upon closer inspection of the writing, you realize that all of this writing is written in blood. Everything, the walls, the ceiling, the floor, all of those markings have been done in blood.
And I promptly turn over to the rest, and I'm like, alright guys, we gotta go.
Do you say that it's in blood?
Yeah, I think I'd go ahead and say that.
Okay.
She literally, like,
He's just
ushers...
kind of walking
Like,
back. He's
ushers
like,
the two of them out, and then, like, closes the door.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know how to lock this again, but we're just gonna go upstairs.
You guys can attempt to relock it if you want to cover your tracks that far.
He is just 360 walk out of the room.
He's like, I'm out.
She's like, nope.
He's like, nope.
Could I use my thieves' tools to relock?
To relock it? Yeah, you can attempt to relock it.
And what's that? Is proficiency plus your dex?
Yep.
I'm gonna give him a hand. Once I see
Okay,
him
so
do
roll
that.
with advantage.
Give
Meanwhile,
me a hand.
while
I'll
you're
give
doing
you a
that,
hand.
25.
okay, so you success. You relock the door. Vandal and Renthal walk back into the clearing, and Mara is still kind of at the grave sites, just praying.
I think they wanted to talk first.
On the way there.
Yeah, you got plenty of time, Bill.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'm wondering, why is it on the way that they had to bound and gag you
because I am here trying to recover. And I did not take kindly to ignoring a king's request twice to then have bounty hunters show up at my home to take away my free will.
That is fair.
And if you're going to force somebody to do something, you should probably be capable of forcing them to do it.
I understand he is the king and his
He's
reach
a
is
king.
far. But how did he even know you were there?
I don't know.
I didn't even know these ruins were here.
I've mostly kept myself here. My few human interactions are with the people of Raven Sorrow, where I will leave them meats and furs.
Raven Sorrow. That's where the people went.
The people that used to live here after the war. They moved north in the Dragorian Empire.
Good people.
People.
People of the woods.
Most people aren't good people. They're just people.
There is a balance in that too.
Sometimes.
What is it you think the king sees in all of us? None of us are particularly powerful. No offense.
Pliability.
To be used. To be a tool for his purpose.
To be manipulated. We're not corrupted by his enemies, nor are we influenced by his allies.
This is
It
the
gives
reason.
us a unique perspective. But it also means that we can easily be manipulated by the king himself.
I'm aware. This is the reason for my measured response to the king. I think he didn't like it.
I don't think he did either. I also personally don't care what he liked. I didn't want to be here in the first place. I liked my life living here alone.
I liked my life
With
in the college.
just me and my thoughts,
Sometimes
in a way.
life pushes you. We have to respond.
True, but unfortunately, coming back to seeing Tali again, hearing Yip talk about my father, it reminds me of all the things I thought I had lost already. So no, I was not happy to be forced into servitude.
There is still a life here for you.
Is there?
Possibly. It is what you make of it.
I guess one day, maybe I'll find out.
What I have is gone long ago. So, I have my comrades. And hopefully you will become one.
Possibly.
As you guys approach the graveyard, you see that Mara is actually holding a small doll in her hands.
Okay.
I quiet away.
Yeah, I won't be like purposely quiet, but just I'll be there waiting on the outskirts.
I hear you coming, and I glance over, acknowledge you, but I speak to Vandal.
I always swore I would never come back here. Matthias made me come. He said it would do me good.
Does it?
He had to hold my hand when I first came back. I couldn't step inside.
I just discovered his fate today.
I just discovered yours.
And your decisions. You are not the little girl he had to hold a hand over anymore. right or wrong. They are yours to make.
They are my curse.
And your blessing.
You made your own decisions.
Just like. Feels more like I coped with what's over me.
I'm
I
starting to see
played
this.
catch with a sword. Congratulations, I caught it.
Starting to see this pliability of yours. In all of us.
She takes the doll and she tucks it back into her pack. Which house did you take?
The old hunter's house. Northwest.
That was my father's.
Then I do apologize. It is not the house it used to be.
That's okay.
And my craftsmanship is not equal to that of your father's.
As long as it no longer smells like deer hide.
Oops.
My bad.
I kind of shrug. The hide is outside.
He does all this getting outside.
I thought it smelled bad on the outside.
It's a good way to earn a living.
My father supplied the town with the hide. He was one of the best huntsmen here.
It is a noble tradition.
He was going to teach my brother and I. And he never got the chance.
Many times I wish I could go back and learn the things, the trades of my family. That is not an option
In-game.
for me either.
Oh, it's getting dark. Getting real dark.
We should probably head back. The trolls get more brazen this time of year.
Mara, as you take one last look at the graveyard before following them to the lodge, you hear a soothing voice in your head that says, "Don't worry, my dear. They are well tended, and you will avenge them."
When we get close to the lodging, I'll say...
Mirage is out on the front porch when you get there.
Okay, I'll say, like, when we get close, I'll say, I'll be there soon, because you said it's getting dark out.
Yeah.
I just want to offer my blessings to, I'm not sure how you say it yet, Manira?
Manera, the
Yeah.
moon goddess?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Neatil.
Okay. You find a nice little spot, not too far from the cabin to be able to do that.
Okay.
Where the moonlight's kind of peeking through and shining down and everything.
I don't take long, it's just my quick blessing, and then I head back.
While they were gone, the kitchen would have been like going through the kitchen to see if there was something to like throw together, whether it was like a
Oh yeah.
stew or something.
You find
Sorry, I made myself
you
at
find
home.
some well salted venison that you're able to use with in conjunction with some of the vegetables down from the cellar, some carrots and some potatoes.
She doesn't need
Tally
more
is
salt.
legit bad. Vandal had a home.
She doesn't need any more salt.
So yeah, so basically like she would have been like just something simple.
Just working out repairing
Yeah.
that. Like I said, you come back. Mirage is standing on the front porch.
I'd be wary about Vandal.
You said that to me.
What? Why?
Why?
He's literally standing right next to him.
What? Why?
I just go out and say, oh, the writing's in blood.
He storms right the fuck past you. Like, are you actually standing in front of the door?
He's standing next to the door.
Yeah, he storms right the fuck past you. And right down the steps, and anything that gets in his way gets shoved aside.
Yeah, some yips at a table, and he sees Vandal like just storm in. He kind of like jumps up, like he's visibly nervous.
He's unstable. So Vandal basically charges down there, and you can hear him muttering, and he unlocks the door, and you can hear slams open.
And then he literally yells, "Trespassers!"
Do you see what I mean?
I see the trespass.
Is it their
property?
Anybody who tries to observe him from the top of the stairs notices that he's sort of frantically looking for something in that room. And he just keeps basically muttering, "It's not here, it's not here."
Aren't you making presumptions about him?
Am I? Yeah.
I'm going to.
I just
detect
remember
magic.
he was there at the war. You helped us.
You're right. But the plot is in his memory. The way he sets up his house. It doesn't seem a bit off to you.
What holes in his memory?
Where is that book?
That chain's in town. Did you say that by the way, did you end up putting the necklace on, or was it hanging on the wall still?
Oh no. He's
Okay.
wearing it.
You have two sources of magic right now. You have the necklace around his neck, and you have Vandal.
I'm cooking.
I'm
So
up front with him.
You're up front with him.
Yeah.
Yip kind of comes out and explains what we saw in the basement to you.
Did anyone follow me down the steps?
I sort of did, not all the way down.
There's no way in hell you're going down the stairs.
I followed you, but stayed out of range. kind
Yip's
of.
like, I was in that fucking room.
Yeah, it's like,
So you're like halfway down the stairs, kind
Yeah.
of just observing him from a distance.
And I'm not going to walk towards him. I just close enough where I can detect magic, and then I give it a minute as he keeps looking, and then I go back up to Ren.
Before you turn away, you would see Vandal kind of stop and seemingly cast a spell. Which you take note of, but say nothing to him.
Can I discern its location?
Hold on. Can I do an Arcana check?
Yeah.
17.
Okay. With your knowledge as a Knight of the Order, you would know that he's casting an arcane spell. You can't decipher exactly, especially from where you are, like exactly what it is, but you do know between the detect magic being up and the and your arcane knowledge, you're guessing it's some sort of scrying spell
Okay.
of some sort. Yes, you can sense it. It's deep in the wood near the foot of the mountains, further west.
With my familiarity with these woods, what else is in that area?
From talking to the townsfolk, you know that rumor has it there's a hag that lives deep in the wood,
oh great.
which she would want said item.
He walks out and without even touching anything, he literally just... And the door slams shut and you hear it lock again. And he starts walking back up the steps.
I'm already actually with Ren. And I wait for them to kind of go away.
They're spoken.
Yeah. But I purposely make sure that Talia can't hear me and that they can't hear me. And I tell Ren what I have seen.
Of the spell, of him
The
casting.
spell,
Yeah.
the detect magic.
Him frantically looking for something.
And I say, of all the years that I have known him, that is not Vandal.
Did he know magic before?
No.
Interesting. Perhaps something is possessing him.
The necklace. It's damaged.
He comes up the stairs seething and furious.
Okay. Vandal.
Thieves.
Who?
Hags.
The hags. I want no part of them.
I remember the
We're out of options.
Well, good luck. I want no part of what
You
you're up
wanted
to.
no part of anything except from apparently my privacy.
Oh, you think it was just me?
I didn't say that.
I think you got a little more explaining to do.
What explaining do I owe a thief and a liar?
I am definitely a thief,
Or a child?
and I'd steal from you in a heartbeat. But you haven't been telling the truth.
What have I lied about?
Well, the fact that you can't remember.
I cannot remember.
Why?
Which part would you like to understand? The
Why?
passage of time. The effect of void magic on a human soul.
And there it
Where's
is.
the kitchen in relation to all of this going on?
Right off of this room.
Okay, so I can hear everything
Oh,
that's
yeah.
happening.
And there what is?
You're,
More things you do not
you're
understand.
unstable.
Perhaps.
I'm unstable.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can eat some food. Talk about this without getting upset.
It's not me you have to worry about.
But
I'm
it
not
sounds
worried
to me
about-
like the witch hunt has already begun. Again, hasn't it?
I'm not worried about anyone. We have no facts.
I'd watch your back.
I go back in the house.
Trust me, Mirage, on one thing. If I come for you, watch your front.
You can certainly try.
Did me going inside convince you to not run off in the woods?
Oh, he wasn't gonna run off in the
Okay.
woods.
I didn't know if you were going
No,
right
he-
after that hag right
he-
now.
No, he literally snaps his fingers and that service fire ignites.
Kind of confirming what she just told me.
I'm curious, did I pick up on that? Because
Oh, it was not
yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
Mara has no reaction. She's just, yep.
I had
Does
set-
anybody else want to violate my privacy and then make accusations of things they don't even understand? Or would somebody else like to ask a question? One grounded in possible information.
how old is that Dragornian language?
It predates humanity as far as I know.
How did you learn it?
That is a very complicated answer.
Well, I
Stop
made
this.
stew so we can sit down and discuss it.
I think the most basic way to explain it would be like saying it's taught to Vandal in dreams.
To Vandal?
Yes.
Mm.
I sleep, and in those experiences, I have lived whole other lives.
And who are you if not Vandal?
I am Vandal Craig, obviously.
But yet you refer to yourself in the third person.
I was trying to find a way to explain it to you.
Who are you? The stew's almost ready.
Were you always gifted in magic?
No,
I've heard.
I didn't even know I was capable of magic until I woke up in the field.
I've heard people gaining magic after never having anything before. That was a long time ago. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
I've been injured twice in my life. Once at the condition of my birth. Hence if you listen to the rumors, the color of my eyes are so unique. The other, at the time that you all thought, and so did I, that I died.
I'm not convinced that part of you isn't dead.
And have you learned anything about controlling your magic?
A moderate amount, yes. I have never had any wild magic experiences, if that's what you're asking.
You could learn a lot at the College of Temervin. I know you haven't heard of it. But
Possibly.
it's where we've been, and there are heroes of old, and many collections on magics are there.
I've always found that when I needed something, it was merely a dream away.
That is interesting. I have never had such a connection with my dreams.
I prefer to view it as possibly a connection to the mist. One formed through my injury.
And that necklace, what is that?
It's a family heirloom. I've worn it since I was, well, before I can even remember life. I was purchased from my parent by a farmer. And that is the only possession that came with me.
And it's broken.
Unfortunately, it helps stop a sword blade.
That explains that. Still concerned.
You just wait.
So now the question is, do you all run for the hills, or do we go get my book?
What book is it?
It is a spell book.
Your spell book?
Yes.
I don't see us.
After all, mages are useless without their spell books, aren't they?
I don't know if we can take on a hag. I've heard their magics are extremely powerful.
I do not know that the hag has it, but judging by the location of the book and the rumors of the townsfolk, that is the most probable answer.
I mean, I've never stolen from a hag before, but how different can it be from a guard castle?
A lot more dangerous.
So, we really are taking the child with us.
He would cause more trouble elsewhere without supervision.
The way I see it, we need all the help we can get.
I'd like to have the old vandal back now.
So what are we gonna do
About what?
about my book?
Well, first we're gonna sit down and we're gonna eat.
I don't want to go in the woods any further if we don't have to, but Vandal can't fully function with his power without that book.
Correct.
And there's no point in us continuing our investigation until we have it.
I'll keep first watch.
If you climb the ladder, there is a perch on the second floor. Unfortunately, I have not been able to clear the steps on the inside yet.
Which room?
I believe it probably would have been yours. Or your brother's.
Love no passing during this.
Oh, yeah.
She just nods
Well,
and
before we
like,
She
move on,
starts opening cabinets to try to find bowls.
You find them.
Okay.
Relatively easy. Hand carved wood.
Pulls them down, starts, and then putting it on the table.
was there any other questions that you wanted to ask before dinner?
Not at the moment.
I'm looking at the Dragornian over here.
he's looking at the DM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's asking me a question.
Oh, I'm quiet. I keep my distance.
There's food on the table.
I'm sitting down to eat.
You get kind of like gingerly or nervously comes up to the table. And he's kind of coming down from the shock of just suddenly seeing a room of blood writing everywhere.
I haven't seen the room yet.
Right.
Yep. Don't worry. There's 10,000 gold for you at the end.
Technically, 10,050. Technically, no, 10,550. But that's only if you can discover what happened to the child of the orc merchant.
I just keep telling myself that every time. This just gets weirder and weirder. But if we want to try to actually rob this hag thing, like, I'm gonna need to know everything you guys know about them.
About a hag.
Like, I can break into almost anywhere,
Oh,
but I need to know.
You remember that when I met you, you were running, screaming through a city that was under attack. And then, the next time I met you, you were being released from prison. Resume's not looking so strong right now.
Would a hag roll be Arcana, Nature,
Or survival.
I would go nature or arcana would be fine.
same number? 18. So
I forgot it's the same skill now.
Okay, first off, that was 5 years ago. I've gotten a lot better since then. Crex will attest to that.
Crex.
And second, that wasn't my first time in jail in those 5 years.
Crex?
And he looks back where Crex would be.
Oh, Mirage. Second, that wasn't the first time I was in jail. And third, I wasn't in jail for stealing this time.
How many times have you been in jail for stealing?
I'll have you know, I didn't even
He only has 4 fingers, so.
I didn't even get caught until I worked with you.
Oh, come on. You said that was going to be a good job.
I warned you not to.
So I know what a hag is.
Yeah.
They'll just start eating.
Your training at the college, in addition to the time that you spent in your past, you are familiar with hags. They are.
Okay.
You would describe them, for those who don't know, sort of troll-like in appearance, but they can disguise the way that they look to appear more friendly. And hags are adept arcane magic users.
I describe all that.
Okay.
Do we know anything about this particular hag?
No, it's a rumor.
Could be no hag at all.
As I told Ren, I don't interact with many sentient beings out here.
Then how do we know the book is even there?
Magic. I created it. I imbued it. I've written every spell, every shape, every rune.
So a lot of this is kind of going over Yip's head. He doesn't really have like a kind of growing up and being a thief. Like he doesn't have really a concept of like magic and what he can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I make a recommendation that we eat and then we sleep and then we can talk about how to go get the book?
Okay.
Alright, fair enough.
You guys eat, tuck in for the night. Right after everybody falls asleep, you set up the stuff.
Yes.
If she took first watch, I would take the second one.
My survival was 23. Do I hear?
I fall asleep on the bench outside next to the fire.
I guess roll a stealth check.
My survival's 5, so during my watch, it's going to be super good.
Everybody's well behaved and nothing went wrong
Nothing.
at all.
Good news for you is you don't have to actually sleep 8 hours. You can just
Yep.
trance it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Sorry.
Sorry.
17.
Yeah, I'll say that you kind of hear him moving around, but you don't really pay him any mind. And with that, you guys sleep, and we'll pick up episode 3 from this particular spot.